hockey time.
Hello Sentinels fans and welcome to the Indiana Sentinels pregame show presented by Body Armor. Andy Petzinger here at the Ralph Engelstad Arena in Thief River Falls, Minnesota. Happy to bring you along on another stellar broadcast brought to you by the Ryan Furt creative crew who did such a great job yesterday. We're going to bring you a lot more of the same today. We've also got a lot of special guests coming on the broadcast, a couple interviews, one with the FPHL's Commissioner Don Kernan. He'll be with us, and we also got the Minnesota Northern Lights GM Sean, who will also join us as well. That'll be a two-parter in the first intermission and the second intermission, so stick around for both of those. But in the meantime, we've also got a hockey game going on here in Minnesota. It's the Sentinels taking on the Scarecrows for the second straight night. Last night didn't necessarily go the Sentinels' way, lost 4-1, but nearly doubled the Scarecrows in shots last night. Let's take a quick look at what the highlights look like. Just off to Anderson's left. Anderson trying to win it straight back to him, but unable to beat Clark on that faceoff. And behind the net, they battle for it, though. Josh LaBelle pinned up there for Topeka. Bormanis putting it out to the blue line. Willette keeps it in. He'll chop it to the opposite side. Koash is there. Lead pass for Klink at the blue line. He's in. Klink to the backhand. He scores! Good long lead pass there from Scott Koash. Was able to find Klink sitting and waiting at the blue line. He was all alone. Went forehand. That was cut off and thrown right back out to the neutral zone. This was the unit that generated a lot of those opportunities with Buchholz, Zinchenko, Cunningham, Willette, and Bormanis. They'll hold court inside the offense. Still pass out front. They score! Great pass there from Bo Zinchenko. Right out in front. Corey Cunningham was ready to go. He pots it. His 11th of the season. It's a Haas Insurance power play goal. We're tied at 1.
All our conference games are only a couple hours away usually, and even back in junior hockey, I've never had a road trip this long, so this is quite the experience.
It was so long we got all the seasons. Here's a pass out in front. They score. A little back and forth passing. Ended up on the stick of Scott Koash. A turnover inside the Sentinel end. Koash converts, and Topeka regains. Dawson will win this draw to the wall. Tortorella puts it back to the blue line. Colarusso D-to-D with Esposito. Back to Colarusso. He'll chip it across for Merrick Tortorella to the middle of the ice. Lease the backhander. Save made. Rebound lays loose. Pulled out by Merrick Tortorella. He'll walk it to the circle and drop it back for Colarusso. Back up top again, Tortorella. Colarusso looks at his options. Hits Tortorella. He's got Dawson in front. Finds Lease as the bumper. Shoots, and a good stop there from Bernard, who was able to peek around the... Jordan Steary saw the play coming. Here's Cunningham on the backhand, throwing it toward the net. Lays loose right on the goal line. It stays free and jammed just wide by Tortorella. Boy, Bernard seemed to have that one covered, and all of a sudden he turned his body towards the goal line and nearly put it in his own net. Back the other way, Koash, he scored! Oh, wow! Scotty Koash, what a rip! Skate right, shoot left, just underneath the blocker of Cooper Olsen. Ashton Colazzo getting ready to cash in all his chips right here on Ethan Esposito. Said he was his pick to click tonight. Esposito will pick it up in the neutral zone. Will go far wide. Now come right back down the gut. Esposito going to the 5-hole, shut down there by Bernard. Espo trying to get Bernard to open up, but Sammy Bernard able to shut the pads together. Panovanov looking up ahead for Dawson, trying to split the D, but coming right back to get in his way there was Connor Lind. As now he and Dawson get tied up. They're going to go at it. Dawson with his bucket off, trying to get some right overhands in. Dawson gets one right on the right cheek, trying to get a couple free now as he's pinned up along the wall. Lind trying to get his hand underneath for uppercuts. Can't get anything free, and they both go tumbling to the ground. 6 forwards on the ice right now for the Sentinels. Cunningham, Zinchenko, Buchholz, Esposito, Lease, and Bormanis. Cunningham unable to get that puck in deep on the first try. Koash for the hat trick. He'll nail it.
Scotty's entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
Welcome back to Thief River Falls. The Sentinels and the Scarecrows getting ready to go head-to-head for the second straight night. As you saw, the Scarecrows came away with a 4-1 victory yesterday. Sentinels outshot them 35-20 last night. We're 5 shots away from doubling Topeka on the night. So Sentinels looking to try to find another way to try to score here on Topeka and pull out the victory and split the weekend. Had some time to sit down with the FPHL League Commissioner Don Kernan earlier today. Let's hear what he has to say. All right, Sentinels fans, Andy Petzinger here sitting down with the FPHL League Commissioner Don Kernan. Don, thank you so much for being part of our show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we wanted to talk with you a little bit because obviously big weekend here. We're here in Minnesota just showcasing the FPHL and how it could thrive up here at the very tip of Minnesota. So, can you tell us a little bit about the process of trying to introduce a new team to the league?
When we look at a market, we look and see if there was a history of a team prior. We come from a bunch of smaller buildings when we first started, so we have a business model that's unique and different than the other pro leagues, where we're able to determine in a smaller building the chances for success. So we look at the corporate, we look at the fan base, and we look at the merchandise sales and see if it's enough to sustain itself. The other part of it is the geography. Mm-hmm. So a team like this has to raise more funds either through corporate or through fan base because of where they are located. We have some teams that are pretty close to other teams right now, so their travel budget is far less.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and with the fact that it is, like you said, a smaller populated area up here, I think I was told it was about 8,000 people, and the seating capacity in this arena is 3,600 seats. So, for an event like this, what does it show you as the commissioner of the league, or what are you at least hoping to see from a neutral site game like this?
Well, there's a population around here that's about 30,000. People here are used to traveling 20 or 30 miles to go anywhere. So,
that's true.
So basically, there's a proximity, but there's some major employers here that have several thousand mm-hmm. employees. So they, there's enough people to make it go, but it's they do have to have the right mix of people showing up, and there has to be the corporate support.
Well, we know Thief River's obviously going to be joining the FPHL. We heard earlier this week that South Haven's going to be coming back after 10 years away from being in the league. We'll also see Motor City returning after being dormant from this year. So 3 teams coming back into the FPHL next year. What are discussions like for further future markets? Anything else that you guys are looking at the moment?
We're talking to 4 or 5 other teams that are possible. Maybe not ready for this coming season, but there's a lot of interest from 4 or 5 other teams that would widen the footprint. And again, one of our issues is just geography right now.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it is very Midwest centric, and it's fun for us when we're Indiana and we get to go to Topeka and we get to go to Binghamton and Port Huron. So it's kind of fun to have the long road trips, but also at the same time.
No, we're looking really hard at the Midwest because we understand, Topeka is kind of out there, and Indiana does have some teams that are relatively close, but it's a problem for Topeka presently right now.
The Sentinels are about to wrap up their inaugural season here in the FPHL, and even though the record shows it was a bit of a tougher year, what have you seen from this club this season?
It's been one of the, since there was a coaching change and ownership change, we've seen a complete reversal and the entire situation. It's been one of the best run teams in the league from where it started from, and it's been really remarkable. And to turn something around so quickly was a tremendous feat by the owners, the new owners, the coach. And, you know, there are a lot of games that were one-goal games that could have gone either way.
Yeah.
They'd be vying for a playoff spot right now.
So you would deem it as a successful season here for Indiana?
Yes, I do. I think that they're bringing a product on the ice that's probably a reach for the limited population. So hopefully it's supported. You know, the facility in South Haven is a gorgeous building. They're putting, I think, $100 million renovation on it, and you're in the same league. Athens spent $122 million on their facility. You're in the same league.
Yeah.
So you know, the fans in Indiana should realize that the ownership is bringing maybe bringing a league and a level of play that, you know, is a bit of a reach.
Yeah.
But I think it's sustainable, and then I hope that it's supported, and I hope that it's understood by the people that it's a lot. I know the fans here yesterday, they've never seen hockey this good here in Minnesota. They're very excited with the product. Minnesota is obviously a hockey area, and they love the level of play, and that's all I heard from everybody that was all the fans. So I think, you know, we have to keep on improving the product, improving the league, and you know, that's what I expect from that. But from the Indiana perspective, it's been one of the biggest turnarounds that I've seen in 15 years.
That's amazing. So I wanted to talk with you about hockey just in general. Obviously, it's exploded over the past 15, 20 years, and we've seen last year that Canadians can play major juniors in Canada and still go to college here in the United States. What are you anticipating as far as the level of play changing in the FPHL because of something like that?
Well, you're showing me that you're a very, very knowledgeable person.
Thank you.
I was in the junior hockey business since 1985. I was on the junior council of USA Hockey for 20 years. I ran New York State USA Hockey, junior hockey for 20 years. I was told by the president of USA Hockey 20 years ago, if this happened, essentially junior hockey in the United States would be ruined and it'd be dead. It's not dead, but it's changed probably 60 or 70%. What it's going to do is it's going to create more Canadian players migrating into college hockey, where they're not, you know, losing their amateur status. I had, you know, coached many players that made it to the NHL, and they had to make a decision at 15 years old. Do I go major junior, do I go college? And it's a tough decision to make at 15 years old. Now they don't have to make that. There's 500 players in each one of the three leagues, so it's 1,500 players that are all good players, and they're going to be migrating, filling in college spots. They're going to be filtering in through, you know, the pro leagues, and eventually a lot of them will be, you know, finding their way into our league. So it's going to, you know, it's going to expand how many players are playing, but it did affect the U.S. junior hockey by 60% minimum. It's devalued junior hockey in the United States by 60%.
Yeah. It's great, and there's going to be a market drop down, which, you know, in my opinion, I think is going to start bringing a whole lot more talent coming down to, you know, levels like the FPHL and the SPHL and all that.
It's correct. It's going to bring a lot more players, and again, it's a scenario where there's a lot of players at 16, 17, 18 years old. They're being advised to do certain things, and they're told that if they play in the Quebec Major Junior League, you're going to be drafted in the NHL. There's 500 players that are in the Quebec Major Junior League every year. 500 players are told that they're going to be drafted in the NHL. Last year, I think they had 13. Okay, so 480 some odd players were lied to.
Yeah.
So eventually, those players would, even though they're good players, they won't get drafted. They can go to a Canadian college, or they can, come down and play, in one of the pro leagues down here, and they're going to opt to, so more and more players like you, like I said, you figured it out. They're going to end up coming down, and it will be through. Like we have a bunch of players from Russia that basically have come and played in the league. It's more pleasing to play in our league than it is to be, in Eastern Europe right now. It's a lot healthier, to play in our league than to go to play. And there's some really good players. We have VHL players. That's one step under the KHL. It's a very, very good league, and we have probably 10 guys that are in our league that have played in VHL, which is a very, very good level of hockey.
Well, you've been part of this league for a long time now. You were there at the starting days where it was on the lower end of the totem pole as far as talent is concerned, and now, there's been 32 players just this season who've been called up to the ECHL, and the Sentinels themselves have had 3 guys who've gone up to the SPHL, so it's a league about growth. It's sparked into a very good growing league where you can kind of sow your oats and move on to that next level. What are your hopes for the FPHL, say, a decade down the line?
Well, I think we're going to be we're basically at this point we're equivalent to the SPHL as far as what most teams are paying their players right now, and a lot of players are not moving there. Matter of fact, a lot of them are coming back this way. So I think it's the East Coast League will continue to be there. Obviously, the AHL will continue to be there. I just think we'll get more and more players, and like I correct, to give you credit for your question again, the migration of what's happened in junior hockey in Canada is going to put more players into the North America wanting to play, and it's just a question of who can afford to pay the players, what they're going to get paid. There was a strike in the East Coast Hockey League based on what they are, and a lot of fans don't realize that if you're an NHL player, you get paid a certain amount of money. If you get moved down to the AHL, you get 90% less money. And then if you go down to the East Coast, you get 90% less again. So it doesn't drop 10, 15, it drops 90%. So a lot of these guys are playing for the love of the game, and they're having a great time doing it. They get along with the fans. It's, as you mentioned, a lot of players will have an opportunity to move up the ladder, but I think it's expensive sport, and you have some players that play Division III hockey and in the East, where there's 50 fans that show up for a game. They play in our league. It could be 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 fans. So it's a more enjoyable thing for that player, and they're actually getting paid. They're not paying $50,000 to go to the Division III school and play 22 or 24 games. So we think that in the long run. I think a lot of players are better served going to school online, playing in our league, and enjoying playing 56 games and having more fun. It's being a hockey parent myself. I had 2 granddaughters that played in the national championship for girls this week in Buffalo, and what it cost me for my children to play is a fraction of what it costs parents today to play hockey. So it's an expensive sport, and this gives the players and the parents an opportunity to continue on without bankrupting themselves.
Right. Well, Don, thank you so much for taking a little time and talk with us today. I know you're a busy man. You've been flying around everywhere this past week, and hopefully it settles down a little bit for you moving forward.
Well, you asked some very good questions, so
thank you.
So hopefully everybody in the league can catch up to you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That was Don Kernan. We'll step aside for a commercial break and finish up the Body Armor pregame show right after this.
How about that from FPHL Commissioner Don Kernan? A really nice long sit down there. Just talked about the state of things and some really nice things to say about what's going on in Indiana with the Sentinels. So awesome stuff with Don Kernan. And once again, our big thanks to him for taking some time out of his busy schedule. He was telling me he's been all over the board. He's been in Buffalo. He's been in Memphis. He's been out here. He went to, I think he said he went to Quebec at one point. So he's been all over the board. So awesome to have him just kind of stick around and talk with us for at least a brief moment. So tonight, Topeka and the Sentinels going head-to-head for the 11th time this season. And even though it is a neutral site game, there's a lot built up to it. Even more on the Scarecrows side because they can clinch a playoff scenario. Let's take a look at what has to happen for Topeka in order to get into the playoffs at the end of the night tonight. So as we talked about yesterday, them and Danbury are head-to-head, or Danbury's just behind Topeka in the standings. There we see it right there. With a victory tonight, Topeka, and a loss in regulation to Danbury, Topeka will clinch a playoff spot. However, a Topeka loss and a Danbury win, they stay neck and neck. So it's right there for Topeka. It is ready for the taking. They just got to go through the Sentinels, who, like I said, they want to play spoiler out here in Minnesota. They don't want to make it very easy for the Scarecrows at all. And to do that, let's take a look at the 3 keys to the game as to what's going to get us to victory, at least in my eyes. Key number 1 for me, better shot opportunities. Talked about last night, 35 shots on goal, nearly doubled the Scarecrows in that category. Quality over quantity, in my opinion here, as far as the Sentinels are concerned. It was a good performance last night from Sammy Bernard. We're actually going to see the backup goaltender today, Matt Lentz. He's going to get the start. We saw him in Indiana, and he got lit up pretty good against the Sentinels. So we'll see what happens there. But quality over quantity as far as shots are concerned. Get to the middle of the ice and start rifling it on net. You also got to win the face-off game. That's number 2 for me. Have to win it in the face-off circle. The Sentinels got absolutely blown out of the water yesterday in the face-off dot. They've got to be much better there. And then my last one, starting on time. The Sentinels have had a tough time as of late getting started on time. And just to show you exactly how hard it's been for those guys, take a look at this. The last 6 games for the Sentinels, all of those are early goals that have happened within the first 5 minutes of the hockey game, and only one of them has gone the Sentinels' way. The 19th against the Prowlers, Dalton Anderson was able to score 29 seconds in. But if you are unable to get through the first 5 minutes without letting up a goal, you are not setting yourself up for success at all. So the Sentinels need to be sure that they are ready to start on time in this hockey game. That will do it for us here at the Body Armor Indiana Sentinels pregame show. Don't go anywhere. We've got the Scarecrows and the Sentinels coming up for you next.
Vitamin water helps keep me hydrated. Encore. After encore. After encore. Next thing you know, it felt just like this. Come on. Vitamin water from New York.
Calling me, like the rainbow, It's calling me, like the rainbow.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
Esposito, he scored!
It's Sentinels hockey time.
There you take a look at the outside of the Ralph Engelstad Arena. Yeah, that is snow on the ground. That's not just from the Zamboni. That is exactly how cold it is out here in Thief River Falls, Minnesota. A sweet barn that they got here. You get a really nice look at that. Good drone shot right there. Once again, that Ryan Furr production crew, how good have they been all weekend long? Just good stuff. Good. I got them to my left and right going, I don't know. They've been fine. So Indiana and Topeka going head-to-head once more, the 11th time this season. We'll see each other 3 more times after this out in Kansas, where the Sentinels and the Scarecrows will finish out the regular season. A couple notes here as far as just the lineups are concerned for Indiana. They will be without Maximus Merrick Tortorella and Romeo Terrain for today's game, so they will be running with 5D for at least a little while. I know we've seen in the past that Everett Thompson has gone to Blake Peavy in times of need or to give some relief to his defense, so we'll see if that ends up being something that Everett Thompson wants to do in the meat of this game. Go to the captain to try to relieve some tension on the back end. But both Romeo Terrain and Maximus Merrick Tortorella will be out. However, jumping into the lineup is the Woodbury, Minnesota native, Tucker Cruz. He's coming back into the lineup. Haven't seen him since January the 16th when the Columbus River Dragons were in town. He's only played in 4 games all year long, but he's been around the Sentinels for the last little while. He never really got home. He never went home at all. He kind of stuck around with the team and became a bit of a practice player. And to be honest with you, he's somebody who is absolutely beloved in that locker room. Every single guy in that locker room has got nothing but great things to say about Tucker Cruz. So awesome to see him getting into the lineup here, with him being a Woodbury, Minnesota native. I believe he does have a little bit of family in the stands, so awesome for him to get this opportunity to play back in his home state with some family around as well. And a really cool thing, we stopped halfway through to Thief River Falls. We stopped in Burnsville, Minnesota, and had a quick practice on Thursday morning at the Burnsville Ice Arena, and that's actually where Tucker Cruz coaches over the summer. So he was able to help the Sentinels get a little bit of ice time, and not sure if he was able to shave off some of the price of the ice time or anything like that, but was certainly able to help get the Sentinels on the books. So really awesome stuff for Tucker Cruz. Happy to see him get back in the lineup here. All right, we are just about ready for hockey time. We'll step aside just once more for a commercial break and be right back with the starting lineups and national anthem right after this. You're watching the Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network. pulling out all the stops here. The lights are out in the building. We had sparklers as the boys came out. We are just about as professional as one can get out here. Scarecrows are going to get announced first, and then back again on the PA mic, Colin Fiol is going to introduce the Indiana Sentinels. We'll also have another familiar face singing the national anthem, our very own Anna Kruger. Going to be back again, this time out on the ice singing the national anthem, and had some time to spend with Anna over the course of the past couple days. One of the nicer human beings out there, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. She does just a phenomenal job with the national anthem, so I'm excited to see her get another shot here in Minnesota to showcase her stuff. I mentioned Matt Lentz is going to be the starting goaltender for the Topeka Scarecrows against Indy. He is 2-1 with a .409 goals against and an .882 save percentage in 4 games. So the Sentinels need to shoot early and often on the Scarecrows net, pardon me. Let's send it on downstairs and listen to our very own Colin Fiol. What a job. What a job. Both Colin and Anna doing a spectacular job down there introducing our boys and singing the national anthem. Love having a little homegrown talent out here in Minnesota. All right, your starting lineups for the visiting Topeka Scarecrows. In net, it's going to be Matt Lentz on the season, 6-10-3. He's got a 5.01 goals against and an 8.79 save percentage. His last game was against Port Huron, where he gave up 5 goals on 35 shots. They lost 5-4 in overtime there. His defense in front of him is going to be Doug Blaisdell alongside Connor Lind. And up front, Avery Smith, Boston Bird, and Corey Checo are the forward unit. And for your Indiana Sentinels, Chris Kerr getting the call in net. His forwards, Tucker Cruz, Blake Peavy, and Dalton Anderson, with Richie Colarusso and Ivan Panavanov on the back end. Chris Kerr, 4-9-2, with a 3.47 goals against, a 9.07 save percentage on the year. He last played back on the 20th against Binghamton, had 53 shots on net, made 47 saves. A very good performance there for Chris Kerr. That was not a good game for Indiana. If not for Chris being on top of his game, could be looking at a much worse score there. Saw a ceremonial puck drop. That was the mayor of Thief River Falls, Mike Lawrenson, coming out to drop the puck there. And a really cool thing this in the warm-ups, not sure if we were able to catch it with our cameras or not, but both Zach Ross from the Indiana Sentinels and Corey Checo from the Topeka Scarecrows were wearing different jerseys, and they were from the Thief River Falls Norskies, a junior team that played out of here in Thief River, and they both played together in the 2019-2020 season. So they both wore their junior hockey jersey, which I thought was really cool to kind of have out at the beginning of the game, or at the warm-ups. And it looks like we might actually have a penalty before we even drop the puck here, because Robbie Nichols is furious on the Topeka bench. Yeah, they're sending somebody in. Paul Jean is grabbing somebody from the bench right now. Robbie Nichols is slamming the door. So not very often you get to see a penalty happen before the puck is even dropped, but the Sentinels start the game out on a Haas Insurance power play. So I wonder, oftentimes if you stay out after the horn goes off in warm-ups, if you're not off on time, they will get you for a penalty. So we'll wait to hear what happened there, but for right now, the Sentinels starting out with a Haas Insurance power play. And coming in over the line, it's Bormanis. He'll dump it in and wrap it around. First period of Sentinels hockey is brought to you by Sprague Hotel Developers. Bormanis on the wall will curl down, look at his options from the corner. Moving it up to Buchholz. They go back and forth from the blue line. He and Colarusso goes back to Bormanis in the corner. He's pressured, taken away by the Scarecrows, and they will clear it the length of the ice. Kerr there to play it from in behind his net. Had to be careful there as there was a forechecker coming down. That's Cameron Clark. Didn't want to cough that up just in behind the net. Now it's thrown out to the neutral zone. Zinchenko, he'll dump it in. Gets wrapped around to the opposite side. Bounces off of Dawson towards the middle of the ice. Panavanov able to keep it alive at the blue line. Zinchenko now throwing it down low. Dawson pushing it in behind. Willett is there. From in behind the goal. Pushes up top. Panavanov, give and go with he and Willett. Nice job by Willett to get that puck back. That might have been a breakaway chance. Zinchenko has some space, walks and fires one right into the glove of Lenz. He'll hang on. Good net front presence there by Nolan Dawson right out in front, and patience as well from Bo Zinchenko, realizing he had a little bit of time to walk down the lane and let one rip. And a good stop required from Lenz. And taking a look at it right now, it is a pregame warm-up violation, bench minor to the Scarecrows. So they either didn't get off the ice on time or they didn't get on the ice on time, either or. Then Paul Jean got him for a penalty. Sentinels win the face-off. Bormanis takes a hit along the wall and his helmet comes off, so he's got to get off the ice. Zinchenko will come on in his stead with 20 seconds left to go on the power play. Sentinels were 1 for 6 last night on the power play, Cunningham, who's out there now, was the only one with a goal. Now below the goal line, Buchholz, a turnaround shot, might have glanced off the crossbar. Lenz also got a piece of it. Here's Colarusso up top, finding Zinchenko down low. The redirect, Cunningham out in front, bounces around out the opposite side. Held in, though, for Kleber. Cleared out to the center ice area. Now a possible breakaway for Koikendall. He'll catch up to the puck and fire on goal, and Kerr makes the save. He'll hang on to it. Koikendall coming out of the box. He served that penalty for the Scarecrows. And a perfect feed from out of the penalty box, and Kerr, a breakaway save after Koikendall caught up to that puck. It was a little too far ahead of him. He was only able to get to it right at about the circles. So not much of an angle to shoot that, but Kerr still needed to be on his toes. So the Sentinels 0 for 1 on the power play so far. Talking about a bit of a fragile start there. Penalty right off the hop. Off the draw, Bauer will take this. He'll dump it in. Bauer getting a look here after being out of the lineup last night. Back inside the Scarecrow zone, D-to-D. Jordan Steer didn't like his option, so he pushes it right back to LaBelle. He'll hit the red line and dump it in deep. Inside the Sentinel zone, Anderson loses his stick, but Ross able to come back and help out. He'll flip this one out through the neutral zone and pass LaBelle. And down, this one will end up going for an icing call. I thought LaBelle might have had a chance to touch that or play that puck, but apparently not. And we'll get an icing on the Sentinels. Face off to the left-hand side of Kerr. Off the draw, Nagy will hold on to it at the blue line. Moving it to Gagnon. One-time shot was blocked on the way through. Lord tried to let that one go. He's also checking his stick to make sure that didn't snap in two. If you play with a broken stick, that's also a penalty. Drop back out at the blue line. Walking down here is Whalen looking cross ice. That pass was a little too hot to handle. Nagy now will hold on to it. He'll put it in behind Lord. Knocked to the boards there by Panavana. Back out to the blue line. Whalen the shot. Never made it through. Picked up by the Sentinels. Bauer, he'll clear back out to center ice. Indiana getting a line change. That pass picked off by Panavanov. He'll lead the rush. Looking up ahead for Zinchenko. Just a little out of his reach, but he chases it down in behind. He's got Nagy on his back. Zinchenko away from that check. Leaving it to Lease in the corner. He takes a body. Bo will come by and pull that one out. Taken on by the Scarecrows and backhanded high through the air and back into Sentinel territory where Ryan Kleber, another Minnesota native from Chaska Mini. He'll clear out to center ice and get it right back in his own zone. Willett, good tape-to-tape pass there right onto Buchholz's stick. His shot, that one took out Blaisdell. Blaisdell took one yesterday as well in the boot. I'm sure he's pretty ginger right now and just took another one right on the foot from Jay Buchholz, and Buchholz can really rip it. Tough weekend there for Blaisdell. Drag move around a check and thrown towards the net there by Klink. Deflected off a stick and wide. Comes up the boards and one-handed out to the neutral zone by Zinchenko. Willett will have to double back and look over his options. Richie Colarusso. Pass comes right back to him. He'll chip it deep into the Scarecrow's end. Cunningham in behind the goal. Was tied up nicely. Good job there by Jordan Steer not to take a penalty. It gets cleared off the glass and all the way down. Kerr will play this one off for Ross, who sets up the breakout from behind his own goal. First 5 minutes have gone by here. Sentinels only giving up one shot. A little bit of thanks to that power play right out of the gate. But a good job here by the Sentinels to not really give up too much here to the Scarecrows. This is an offside play. Bormanis putting his team offsides. Before we go to our commercial break, our condolences, our thoughts and prayers out to the Ethan Esposito family for the loss of his grandfather. We learned of it earlier today. From the Sentinels organization, our thoughts and prayers are with you.
Vitamin water helps keep me hydrated. Encore. After encore. After encore. Next thing you know, it felt just like this. Come on. Vitamin water from New York.
It's calling me. Like the rainbow. It's calling me. Like the rainbow. The rainbow.
Back at the Ralph Engelstad Arena in Thief River Falls, Minnesota. Fans, stick around after the period comes to a close. In our first intermission, we will have the first half of our interview that we had with the Minnesota Northern Lights general manager. Sean, he and I sat down for a good while, to be quite honest with you. That's why we had to split it into two. But stick around. It'll be about 10 minutes long, that first half, and the second half will come in the second intermission as well. So really good conversation with him. He's got quite the storied background as far as hockey is concerned. So he's been all over the board. Chipped in by Tucker Cruz. Wrapped around the wall. Lease is the first one there. He's got Cruz up top. Unable to get the pass to him. Dawson couldn't pull that one to his stick. And now cleared back out to the neutral zone where Bird will dump this one in. Look out, Ross. Oh, that was a dangerous play coming out towards the front of his net. Bird was right there on him, but Ross was able to evade that and clear it out to the neutral zone. Buchholz gets bodied right at the blue line by Graspy, and Graspy will come away with it. He hits Smith. Avery Smith in his 100th FPHL game. Graspy from in behind the net. Didn't like his options. Comes out to the other side in front for Gagnon. Cunningham got a stick in the lane there. Now Zinchenko will push out to center ice 2-on-4. Tried dumping that one in, and he hit the linesman. The linesman caught that one on the back of his leg, and he goes up a little lame. Now turnover and behind. Here's Cunningham holding, shooting the save. Made rebound, bounced around in the slot. It comes right back to Lenz, who covers up. Good shot there from Cunningham. Able to shimmy shake the checker off of his back, turn around onto his forehand and let one rip. And Lenz able to get just enough of that with the shoulder to knock it down and picked up that rebound right out in front. Bozinchenko heading to the front of the goal as well, trying to pick up a little loose change. Face off to the right of Matt Lenz. Anderson won that one to the wall, but nobody home for the Sentinels. Goes back out to the blue line where Peavy is going to take a shift at D here. Colarusso looking at Esposito. He'll redirect that one in deep. And he did touch that offside, so we'll get a whistle stopping play. Face-off will end up coming to the Sentinel side of the neutral zone, since that's where Peavy was when he had let that pass go. Anderson back on the draw again, going against Graspy. Graspy will win this one and pick up his own face-off win. Walk over the line and fire one. Kerr got just enough of it. Oh, it squeaked right through the elbow, but he was able to get enough of that to knock it wide. Good release there from Trevor Graspy. Now inside the Scarecrow zone, Anderson pinning up Gagnon along the wall. Moved along to Trevor Lord. He'll clear it out to center ice. Bounces into the Sentinels zone, and icing call here on the Scarecrows. Sentinels fans, we've got a ticket package that we are running here. Take a look at that. $300 for a full season, 28 home games. Half season, $150. Look at the money that you're saving. That full season's $420. You save $120 just by buying now. You do it now and between now and May the 1st. So make sure you scan that QR code and get in line, because those are going to go fast. Clear it out to center ice and right back out again. Willette Finds Dawson along the far wall. He'll chip it in deep. Back to grab that one, Lenz. He had Bauer all over him. Bauer unable to pick that puck up, and the Scarecrows come on out to the neutral zone. Pass out in front for Koash. He was well tied up, and let's hope that stays that way for the remainder of the game. Koash with his second hat trick last night against the Sentinels. There's a big save from Kerr in tight. Koash able to get that down to Cameron Clark. Clark with an in-tight shot. Kerr makes the save. Yeah, Scott Koash last night picked up the hat trick, getting an empty net goal late in the third period to seal the deal. That is the second hat trick he's had against the Sentinels this year. The first one coming back on Halloween. So if the Sentinels weren't aware of it before, they certainly are now. Keep an extra eye on number 18 as there's a shot right off the draw from Clark. Kerr able to knock that one aside. Kleber will come up the wall, but not out. Held in at the blue line there by Steer. Koash from a bad angle. Kleber gets in the way of it. Bounces around in behind. Buchholz battling forward. Is able to win that board battle, but can't clear out. Koash on him quickly. Stays inside the zone. Panavanov gets a little help from Buchholz to knock that free. Now Cunningham on the near side. He'll flip this one through the neutral zone. And back to Scarecrow territory, which is picked back up again by the Crows. Koash will leave it off to Clark. Unable to dangle his way through either Anderson or Kleber. Kleber goes high up off the glass. Blaisdell, his shot blocked by Zinchenko. He's back off the other way. Zinchenko trying to make a move around the defender. Good stand-up play there by Gordon Whalen. Zinchenko not quitting on the play, still able to move that to Anderson. Anderson gets it knocked off his stick. And now pushed in deep by Peavy. Scarecrows will spin it right back out, but not much further than Ross in the neutral zone, who has a little trouble with it. Ends up getting picked up by Clark. Clark over the line, gets knocked to the ice. Was looking for a call, he's not going to get one. And now flipped out to the neutral zone. Here's Cruz. He'll pull up just inside the blue line. Gets it around Lynn and chips it in deep. Peavy the first one after it there in the corner. Peavy taking a hit, Cruz coming in to help out. Cruz gets pinned up along the wall. Out to the blue line it goes. Here's Ross, the shot. Oh, hit Lease on the way through. Lease going right to the net, trying to screen the goaltender. Ended up taking that one off the side of the leg. Back in the Sentinels end it goes. Corey Checo gets banged along the wall there by Collar Russo, who ends up coming away with it. He'll move it out to the neutral zone where Bormanis slaps it in deep. Esposito down low. Had that taken away by Lind. And now pushed out to the neutral zone where Bird will control. Bird leaving it off for Checo. Stopped by Willette. Good poke check there by number 11, just inside the blue line. Scarecrows will control back in their own end. Look out there. Nearly going down in behind his own net. I believe that's Connor Lind. Nobody around him, and he almost got hit by a sniper. This one goes all the way down. And we'll get another icing call here this time on Topeka, but it's right at a commercial break. So we'll step aside. 0-0 is your score over halfway through the first period. Watching the Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network. Back in Thief River Falls, we are scoreless here in the first period. 10.5 minutes just about gone. Shots even at 4 apiece. Sentinels were able to open up the period with a power play. Unable to convert on it. Got, I believe, 2 shots out of it, but unable to put one behind Matt Lentz. Scarecrows with a bit of an answer, and it's been even Steven ever since. Sentinels now with a chance in the offensive zone to try to get set up here. Anderson on the draw. Got tied up there, unable to pull it back. LaBelle will grab it, his clearing attempt. Oh, Anderson nearly picked that off at the top of the zone, but it just escaped him and goes out to the center ice. Graspy takes a hit there from Anderson. Good job by Anderson to finish his check. Took Graspy off the puck, and now Zinchenko back the other way. Stripped of it by LaBelle at the last minute. That play all happens because of the hard check there on the boards inside the D zone by Dalton Anderson. I'm sure that's something that head coach Everett Thompson's going to want to clip and look at this week in practice. You play in your defensive zone, you get the puck out, you play hard in your own zone, it leads to chances back the other way. This puck gets pinned up along the wall. You can hear the referee yelling, move, move, move. Finally, it does pop free, and Lord is able to get it out to the neutral zone. Panavanov from in behind his own net, spinning away nicely from Gagnon. Moves it along the wall to Dawson. Didn't have much space to do anything with it. Tried to give it back to Panavanov, but stolen by the Scarecrows. A pass out in front from Clark. Gets taken away by the Sentinels and cleared the length of the ice. We'll get another icing here with 8:23 left to go in the first period. Everett Thompson talked yesterday about winning the blue lines. You win this hockey game by what you do on the blue lines, both in the offensive zone and the defensive zone. And that's some of the play that he's talking about right there. If you're hard on your check and you finish your check in the defensive zone, take that puck away and you clear it on the first opportunity, that was nearly a breakaway for Bo Zinchenko because of that play. It seems simple, but in the course of a long season, those are the kinds of plays that sometimes go by the wayside. Good to see the Sentinels doing that here early in the first. Leads after it. He'll backhand it in deep. Bauer is able to slap it back in behind the net. Dawson chasing after it. Curling away from Clark. Comes up the wall for Bauer. He'll spin that one towards the net. Nobody home. Easily cleared out of there by Lenz. And Koash now will sauce this puck all the way across. Willette finding Esposito on the near side. He'll bank it off the wall. Bormanis, a quick wrist shot from just inside the blue line. Nearly surprised Lenz there as he reacted a little late to it. Was able to get enough of the arm on it to knock it down and reel it back in for a whistle. Mentioned the struggles for Matt Lentz against the Sentinels. That's the kind of thing that I was talking about earlier in the game, is try to get any puck you can on net. You never know what might end up happening. Face-off is going to be to the right side of Topeka's goaltender, Matt Lenz. Bormanis on the draw for Indiana, going up against Avery Smith. Bormanis won it. A little out of the reach of Colarusso, though. He had to chase that one down to try to keep it in. Second opportunity for the Scarecrows goes out to the neutral zone, but not very far. Turn right back in. Here's Esposito curling and wiring one. That one deflected off his stick and goes well up out of play. Good patience there from Esposito. Could have shot that one right away, but he waited for multiple bodies to try to get to the net front. Make life a little more difficult for Lenz in goal, and also get more bodies to the front of the net to try to pick up any rebounds that there might be. Sentinels win another draw. The bank back out to the blue line, though, was in between both Panavanov and Kleber, so they'll have to go back and grab it. Panavanov, good read here in the neutral zone, able to knock that one down. Settles down a bouncing puck and throws it in deep. Blaisdell from in behind his own goal will go high up off the glass and out. He had trouble settling that puck down. Somebody needs to put a fork in it here. Now Blaisdell nearly gets his pocket picked there by Buchholz. Backhander from the wall was knocked down by Kleber. Blaisdell still controls with it. Bird in behind. Banking that around Kleber from in behind the net. Smith pinned up along the wall there by Buchholz. Nice job there by Jay Buchholz. Able to put up his man along the wall. So I said Smith, that was Corey Checo. But still a real nice job there by Buchholz to strip his check, and the Sentinels clear it down. LaBelle tried to clear that one out, went off of Dawson, and in front, one-handed toward the net there by Cunningham. He didn't see that right away. If he did, he might have had a prime time opportunity right down Broadway, but all he could really do was swing and try to swat at it. Graspy from below the goal line in front for LaBelle. He redirected that just wide. Knocked down by Cunningham. He'll clear it out to the neutral zone where Dawson one-hands it around to check. Dawson moving it around the wall. Was hoping to get Willett there, but Willett had to release back to the blue line. Now the Scarecrows clearing attempt goes off of Anderson's stick. Sentinels doing a really nice job early on in this hockey game by getting sticks and hands and all kinds of body parts on clearing attempts, not making life very easy for Topeka to try to get it out of their own end. They're very hard on the forecheck right now, is Indiana. Lord out to the blue line. Nagy was just coming off a line change. Dumped right back in. Lord will wrap it around. Panavanov chasing after it. Clark holding it at the blue line. Will throw it towards the net. Kerr easily able to stick that one aside. Comes right back to the wall. Down low, pass out in front for Clark. Unable to settle that one down. Cleared out to center ice and past Nagy at the blue line. Ivan Panavanov from in behind his own net. Thrown up to the neutral zone. Lease, 3-on-3 back the other way. Lease able to get around a check, coming out the other side. Puts it back out to the blue line for Willett, just off a line change. His shot redirected by Bauer and went wide of the goal. Cleared out to the neutral zone by Topeka into the waiting hands of Dalton Anderson. He'll snap it right back in as we are under 5 minutes left to play here in the first period. And what's turned into a bit of a chess match here between these two teams. Coash trying to open things up, moving it up ahead for Klink. He gets it over the line, gets Kerr down, tries to throw it out in front. Good job by Kerr. Committed early to that play, but was still able to pin himself up along the post and didn't allow Klink to get that pass out to the front of the net. Great job there by Kerr to shut that off and seal it on that near post. We'll step aside. 0-0 here in Minnesota. You're watching the Indiana Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
Chris Kerr helping keep the score 0-0 here on that really nice play. Kind of had to scissor kick the post almost to try to keep himself from sliding away from the net any more than he had already done. And in doing so, he was able to put both pads up against the net and didn't allow that pass from Klink from below the goal line to come out towards the slot. So a really good play there by Chris Kerr to settle things down a little bit. That was a possible 2-on-1 for Topeka, and I don't think that's really technically a shot on net, seeing that it came from behind the goal line. So unable to get any shots on a 2-on-1 with one of their highest goal scorers, their highest goal scorer actually, with 32 in Stephen Klink. Sentinels unable to get it out the first time. Second try here for Cunningham was nearly stripped of it. Gets some help from Zinchenko to throw to the opposite side where Colaruso's waiting. He'll dump that one in. Zinchenko trying to get it in the corner. Gets bounced off the puck, cleared out to the blue line. Turnaround shot there from Cunningham. Sticked out by Lenz up into the netting. We'll get a whistle with 3:41 to go in the first. Going to have another special guest on in the second period. We had Brendan Bauer come in the second period last night. I think you guys are also going to be thrilled with who we've got coming on today. Should be a lot of fun. Cleared up the wall. Ross gets pinned up there. It's sent out to the neutral zone where Kleber will rag it back. He finds Peavy on the far wall, who gets just enough of that to chip it in, but not deep. So the Scarecrows send it on out. This one bounces all the way down. We'll get an icing call here on the Sentinels. And once again, Robbie Nichols standing up on top of the bench and screaming at the officiating staff. Paul Jean not having any of it. Our officials today, linesmen are Jordan Crable and Brian Turnotter. Referee is Paul Jean and Eric Holvig. Off the face-off, Cunningham. Couldn't get that puck in deep. Zinchenko wins a board battle, cutting to the net, trying to get around a poke check of Lenz. Lost the puck at the last second there as he tried to drag it from forehand to backhand. Dumped into the Sentinel zone. Bird pinned up along the wall there by Willette. Now Buchholz able to release that down low for Panavanov, who comes out and works out to the neutral zone. Panavanov, nice job to get in. Lord couldn't get the check. Now a shot from Zinchenko sails just wide. Cunningham nearly had a wide open 6x4. Shot it right through the crease. Now coughed up by Colarusso. Just off the bench is Kleber trying to help out on the 2-on-1. Smithy scores! The backhander from Avery Smith. A bad bounce at the Sentinel offensive zone blue line, and Colarusso was unable to get control. That puck led to a 2-on-1, and Avery Smith picks up goal number 8 on the season in his 100th FPHL game. Gets his first goal in the last 9. And Topeka opens the scoring with 2:24 left to play in the first period. Sentinels looking to answer back before the period comes to a close. Graspy will move it up to the blue line for Nagy. He's hit there by Esposito, but still is able to keep the puck in. And we end up getting a hand pass there from Nagy. So the faceoff will come out to the neutral zone. Well, we talked earlier in today's game about the Sentinels giving up early goals within the first 5 minutes. They were able to stay away from that tonight, but you also don't want to give up anything late in a period either, with under 5 minutes left. Those are some of the things that this young Sentinel group in their inaugural season, they're trying to work the kinks out and get everything under wraps. Got to make sure you're competing for a full 60 minutes. Bormanis trying to chip around to check and get that puck in deep, had it stripped off his stick and cleared out by the Scarecrows, where Lord will control in the neutral zone, comes over the line offsides. Lord unable to hold up at the blue line after he had released that puck. He didn't have enough steam on that pass. I don't think he realized that that was a bit of a slower pass than he had intended, and he was a good 1.5 feet offsides there. Face-off will come just outside the Sentinel zone. Asked Everett Thompson what he thought about the first game for Jay Buchholz, and really the only things he said were that kid is effective. He is out there every shift, and he's able to do something that affects the way that shift is going, and it's in a positive manner. So Jay Buchholz in his very first professional hockey league game. I asked him earlier today how he felt and what the speed comparison was like to ACHA Division I games, and he said it helped that I was just coming off of the national tournament where everybody's at their highest speed, but even then, this is still a little higher. There's a wrist shot from Buchholz, who snaps it just wide. Bounced out to the neutral zone by the Scarecrows. Cunningham trying to spin away from a check, accidentally ran into another one in Klink. Now Klink can't get that around Buchholz. 2-on-1 back the other way. Got Cunningham with him. Buchholz for Cunningham. Only thing he could do was try to sauce that puck over. Good sliding play by Blaisdell. And the pass was at the shin pads, really at the kneecaps of Cunningham, as we're under a minute to go here in the first. This one gets floated out to the neutral zone. Ross able to pick it out of the air. Looks up ahead, finds Zinchenko. Unable to settle that puck down. Klink picked his pocket. Throws it right back up again. Clark with a between-the-legs pass to Scott Koash, acting like it's a 7-0 hockey game. Ended up denying that 2-on-1 chance. Colarusso from between his own hash marks will rag this one back and let the rest of the time kill off of the clock. So the first period will close. It's a 1-0 Scarecrow lead, thanks to a goal from Avery Smith with 2:24 left to play in the first period. A backhander that went just off the inside of the post and in to beat Chris Kerr. Shots after the first period, 6-5 in favor of the Sentinels. The only penalty was before the game even started, and the Sentinels unable to convert on that power play. So as we mentioned, we sat down for an interview with the Minnesota Northern Lights new general manager, and he had quite a bit to say. So let's listen to hear what he had to talk about.
Andy Petzinger here alongside the new GM of the Minnesota Northern Lights. Sean is gracefully taking some time out of his day to stick around and talk with us. I know you've got a pretty busy schedule, so thank you for taking a little bit of time to hang out with us.
Nice having me on the show, Andy. I really appreciate it. We both have been around this game for a long time, so it's exciting to see what you guys are doing.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us. And yeah, you've been around for quite a little bit. Let's just talk a little bit about your background. You've been in hockey for quite a while, both on the ice, and you also had a little bit of inline, I think I saw as well. What were the roads that led you out here?
Well, I grew up in a suburb of Minneapolis called Fridley, Minnesota, and it's a storied hockey town. We've had some NHL guys come out of there, and college players, and I was one of the college players. I played for the University of Alaska Fairbanks on a full ride Division I program, and we've over the years I knew that hockey obviously was in my blood from the day I was born, I think, but then getting into college and then after college thinking, you know what, I really enjoyed coaching, and I thought, well, maybe I get in the coaching role, and so I did a lot of stuff in Alaska. Coached a high school team up there. Was the coach of the All-Star Bantam team. Then I was the state coaching director, and then realizing being from Minnesota that I had to get back into the lower 48 to really pursue my career, which I did. I came back to Minnesota, and back then, Minnesota, North and South Dakota were called the Minnesota District, and I was a coaching instructor for USA Hockey, or A-House at the time, which is kind of interesting. And so I did a lot of coaching certification. I was probably certified with our group, 1,000 coaches over that time. And then had an opportunity to be the coach and GM. My first real big opportunity was the Omaha Lancers in the USHL, and I was the coach and general manager for 3 years. And that's a made-for-TV movie situation there. and if I told you the story, we'd be here for a month. It's just an absolute crazy deal. But I was actually filmed by interviewed by a film crew. They were going to make a movie about it because it was just so crazy. And they got into camp, but they never got it published by the NHL Network or ESPN or anything like that. So, but from there, got involved with a league that was it was kind of rivaling the NHL called the Continental Hockey League. I was hired as assistant GM, and I was the youngest executive in the league at the time. All the players and the guys were drafting, guys from the NHL legends and Hall of Fame guys like Brad Park, Danny Gare, that were involved. And we never dropped the puck, but we drafted, had a big draft in Toronto that spring. And for whatever reason, we just never dropped the puck in the league. We had everything in place. But from there, I got involved with another minor league hockey league. It was called AHA. To help them put together some opportunities in the Midwest. We had a team in Green Bay, Bismarck, Fargo, Hibbing, and St. Paul, Minnesota. And the league, it's funny, when the league folded after a couple of years, all those markets are taken now by the USHL or North American Hockey League. So, you know, it was a fun little stint. We had some great coaches. Dave Langevin. Actually, I hired Scott Sandlin, who's a coach at UMD. It was his first head coaching job, and got involved with that pretty heavily. And then from there, I jumped into the inline. I knew Bob Nagley, who was the founder and owner of Rollerblade Inline Skates in Minneapolis. And Bob, we sat down and talked a little bit about a national program for inline hockey, because it was fastly approaching a kind of an epidemic proportion in the country. And they were getting sued by parks and recs and landlords and stuff, because kids were not just skating around the pond anymore, they're getting hockey sticks in their hand and playing roller hockey. So we formed a kind of a USA Hockey or CHA hockey program for inline hockey called the National Inline Hockey Association. I was the executive director. We started the organization with 2 members and 2 employees, and grew it to 375,000 people. Wow. And it was really the fastest growing, one of the most exciting things I did in my life. And then we sold the organization to USA Hockey in 1997. And so they're thinking, okay, do I go back into ice hockey? I did. I took a job as the general manager of the East Coast Hockey League team in Knoxville, Tennessee, the Knoxville Cherokees. And then we moved to the PD area, where we have a team, the PD Ice Cats. We're called the PD Pride, and very successful franchise. Matter of fact, when I hired the coach, when I came in, we let go of our coach, and I was looking for a head coach, and talked to Terry Christensen, who was with the Tallahassee Tiger Sharks in the East Coast League. Terry said, hire my assistant coach, Jack Capuano. Talk with Jack, and of course, Jack has been a storied coach in the NHL. And Cappy and I are, you know, we've been knowing each other for years, and so he came in and did a fabulous job, and known Jack, and of course went to the National Hockey League and coached in with the Islanders in Florida and Ottawa, and now he's the associate head coach in the Minnesota Wild. So it's kind of fun story. Yeah. But so then it was in that for a while, and then I had an opportunity to be a commissioner of Major League Roller Hockey, the Professional Roller Hockey League. And it was a lot of fun, and we did it for 2 years. The league didn't last after 2 years, but we had a really good following. The team that won it the first year was the Anaheim Bullfrogs. Second year was the Orlando Sharks. And the Anaheim Bullfrogs, we played our championship at the Anaheim Pond. At the time, it's called the Pond. Mm-hmm. We had 17,000 people for our championship.
Oh my goodness!
It was really fun. It was on broadcast.com, which is Mark Cuban's old, .com, and broadcasted all over the place. It was kind of fun. So and then I got out of that. I was getting out of hockey, and I went into Tupelo in the Western Pro League and straightened out a team there, with a GM there for a while. And so, kind of got out of the game for a while and came back to Minnesota and ran as an executive with a business, small business, and then we sold the business in 2016, and I said, well, maybe it's time to get back into hockey. My kids were growing, and my wife said, my wife says, oh, okay, let's do it. So got involved with the FPHL with Don Kernan. I think Don Kernan is an outstanding person, but also an outstanding commissioner. Have a lot of respect for Don and what he's done here at the FPHL, and so it was kind of a natural. We got together, and I tried to put a team in Beaumont, Texas, and we were way down the road, and then the ice assessment came. They said to us, well, there's no problem with the ice. Well, we need to make an assessment. We did, and found out the compressors of Brian Moore's, everything was shot, and it needed about a $2 million fix. So, you can't play ice hockey without ice. And so we said, okay, let's find some other place. So we looked at some other place, but I was still working with Don and some of the expansion and trying to find some alternative markets, but also helping him with other new markets. And so we looked at Grand Island, Nebraska. Grand Island, Nebraska is a great opportunity. We've got 100,000 people in the area, 5,000 seat building called the Heartland Event Center in Grand Island. A great hockey building. They put in 20 years ago. They built an ice plant in there and made it for hockey, and they never turned on the switch. They never made ice in the building.
Oh my
20
goodness.
years. So when the new general manager came in there, Kyler called us and said, hey, what about having a hockey team here? So I went down there and spent some time with him. And the kind of funny thing is that when I went in there and looked at the ice plant, I said, this is a brand new ice plant. He said, yeah, it's never been turned on. I said, you're kidding me. And I'm looking over in the corner, and I see this big wrapped thing on a pallet. And I walk over, I think I know what that is. It's a brand new jet ice system for painting the ice that had never been used. 20 years sitting in the corner. It's crazy, When he took me in the locker room, I looked around, kind of laughed. I said, nobody's been in it. He said, no, nobody's ever used it. So we took a group, and I've got a group of folks that wanted to go in there, and so we had Honeywell did an assessment of the building, and because the ice plant hadn't been turned on in 20 years, the chiller had corrosion in it, so it needs a new chiller. $750,000 to $800,000 deal. The city said, well, we're not going to buy it, but the state of Nebraska has a grant system for city and county facilities to fix. So they put in a grant, and we'll actually know next week if that's going to be a viable situation. So, but in the interim, Don and I came up here and worked on this potential franchise called the Minnesota Northern Lights, and started this thing about 4 months ago, and you know, with logos and setting things up, and you know, that was really my goal, to get this thing off the ground and set it up, and work with Don on it, and we have, and we've done I think a yeoman's job of getting this thing put together. Of course, we got a lot more time to do things in 7.5 months, but yeah, that's kind of my storied background.
Well, that's what I call a resume. Minnesota's in some pretty good hands up here, that's for sure. But yeah, that lands us here too today, where we've got Indiana, Topeka, who was doing this neutral site game, and more or less just trying to get some feelers out there and see how hockey is going to survive out in Minnesota. So what are the boxes that you personally want to be checking off after this weekend?
Obviously the tenants, what's the walk-up, what's the gate receipts, how we sell merchandise, what type of media coverage we're getting, making sure that this is a market that, it's a hockey-rich market. It's a very small market. And that's the thing that's a challenge, is we got to get people to come out and buy tickets, buy season tickets, get that corporate legacy partner situation, because if we don't, it'll be a tough sell.
Yeah.
But we're optimistic, and obviously having, the Indiana Sentinels and the Topeka Scarecrows in here for a neutral site game is absolutely fantastic. It gives a showcase of this area of what this league and this play is all about.
All right, there you have it, part one of our interview with the Minnesota Northern Lights GM, Sean. Told you he had a lot to talk about. That's a big resume right there that he's got, and he's been all around the world in different facets and different stages of hockey. So he is a perfect person to put out here to try to start an organization in the FPHL. He has been around the block a number of times. So that is part one of the conversation we had with him. Part two will be coming up in the second intermission. And right now it is 1-0 Topeka through the first period of play. The only goal coming from Avery Smith with an assist from Trevor Lord. Just a funky play at the Topeka blue line, where Colarusso was just unable to settle down a puck. Rolled over his stick, and it led to what looked like it was going to be a 2-on-0, but Kleber, coming off the bench, cut it down to a 2-on-1, and Smith was still able to make a backhand shot and ding it just off the inside of the near post and in for a 1-0 Topeka lead, and that is where we stand through period number one. Let's take a look around the league right now and what's going on. Already one final out in Twin City. The Thunderbirds able to outlast the Rock Lobsters by a score of 4-3 in overtime. They had lost to Athens yesterday, so picking up 2 points on the weekend. Port Huron and Watertown. Watertown sticking around a lot better than they were yesterday. It was already, I believe, 8-0 at this point going into the third period against Port Huron. It is only a 2-1 Prowlers lead through 40 minutes of play there. Danbury, knowing that their lives are on the line, have a 4-3 lead over the Binghamton Black Bears out in New York. That's going into the third period there as well. A very big period for Danbury coming up in the final 20. Monroe trailing 4-2 to Columbus. That didn't matter yesterday. They were down by 2, I believe, yesterday going into the third period. They fought back and won that game 6-5 in overtime. So that is going to be one fun playoff series to watch. That's going to be one that I think is going to go the full length, that's for sure. Blue Ridge won last night 5-3 over the Ice Cats. They lead 2-0 in the second period right now. And Biloxi and Baton Rouge just underway about halfway through the first period. That game is scoreless. Biloxi broke their losing streak last night against the Zydeco. They're hoping to build on top of that and get the weekend sweep. Right here, it's 1-0 Topeka through 20 minutes of play. We'll be back with the second period right after this. You are watching the Indiana Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Scarecrows' entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
Vitamin water helps keep me hydrated. Encore. After encore. After encore. Next thing you know, it felt just like this. Come on. Vitamin water from New York.
It's calling me. Like the rainbow. It's calling me. Like the rainbow. The rainbow.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
Has been
Andy Petzinger up top with the one and only Colin Fiol.
Hey, hi, hello. How goes Sens fans back at home? I miss you guys.
So, how did it feel being down there, able to introduce your boys on a different stage?
It was cool. It's cool to see them in a new building, and I'm glad I got to do it one last time before the season was over. I wish it could have been in Columbus, but it was cool to do it in a new place and see all the guys one more time.
The sparklers were rather close. What was the concern level there?
Pretty high. Someone told me, yeah, you can hold your hand right over it and it won't burn you, which sounds like the biggest trap in the world. There was very much an Admiral Akbar moment there. It's a trap! But also, I didn't sign a waiver, so I probably could have done it and made a lot of money.
There you go. See, it's a missed opportunity, honestly. It's 1-0 Topeka through the first 20 minutes of play. Like I said, a little bit of a chess match in that first period for both teams, just kind of feeling each other out. I know one of the things Everett Thompson wanted to do was try to close down the neutral zone, and that certainly happened in that first period. So let's see if things open up here in period number 2 as we get underway. That one, goodness gracious, I think that one went off the head of Doug Blaisdell. and into the Scarecrows bench. Blaisdell having a really rough weekend.
Yeah, sometimes you get bonked.
Yeah. He took one on the boot yesterday, took one on the foot again today, and I think he just took one right off the temple. That one's got to hurt.
Yeah, that's using your head.
That's absolutely it is. Pass out in front. Here's Checo getting to the net, trying
go.
to power that on goal, but Curry able to get a stick on it. Cruz, nice job getting in the lane of that shot from the blue line. Checo again at the point. Will bounce that one toward the net and wide. Kleber swipes it away. Will let up the wall, knocked down out of midair by the Scarecrows. Good job knocking that one down. I believe that's Bird on the far wall. Kleber will try again on the opposite side. This time he's just going to turn into Bobby Orr and make his way out to the neutral zone and flip this one in deep. So this is your first year doing anything really sports related, right?
Correct, yeah. I've done plenty of voiceover and acting and stuff. I've been on camera and voiceover like in movies. I've done plenty of video games, a lot of like internet animations, YouTube intros, like here's the top 10 list of Disney villains who had it coming, like that kind of stuff. But I've never done sports before. I played some sports, but never did anything on the mic for sports. Our producer, Jordan, who works with Ryan Furr's crew, he for my band, he produces my band, so I've known him forever. We've played shows together for like upwards of 10 years. He hit me up last year, and he was like, hey, do you have any... And he's also recorded some of my voiceover work as well. So, like, we've worked together. He knows I do voice stuff. He hit me up, and he was like, hey, do you have any desire to be the voice of the new Indiana Pro Hockey team? And I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I literally just found the text the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I should post that soon. See how, like, things have changed and all that. But, yeah, no, it's been very, very fun. I think people connect with me and like how I run it because I kind of admittedly don't know what I'm doing. I can read a script and I can get loud and I know how to control a crowd and have fun, even at like my own stupidity at times.
Right.
Which, like I said, I mess up all the time. But I feel like you either got to make it so smooth that nobody knows you mess up, or more likely than not, I call myself out and let people know I messed up. But hey, it happens. We're all having fun here.
We're all human. We all mess up a little bit. Just got to have fun when you do.
No, absolutely.
We're on the Powerade penalty kill here. Kleber going to the box for charging. This one goes out to the blue line. LaBelle able to keep it in. Pass out in front. Backdoor feed there for Bird. Went right through his legs and out the other side. Topeka keeps control. Clark. Cross-ice pass. Waiting for Koash there at the back door. It was a little too hot to handle. Goes back to Clark at the far point. He'll dump it down low. Gagnon settling that puck down. Fights Bird in behind the net. The Sentinels are content to keep him right there. Not a threat from in behind the net. Koash spinning away. Looking for a lane. Can't find one. Comes right back to him on the wall. LaBelle now at the blue line. Back to Koash. He'll walk right down, walk in and fire. Curry able to get a good glove on it. Lays loose in the slot. Unable to clear was Bormanis. Held in by the Scarecrows. Good pressure here. LaBelle goes D-to-D with Clark. Wanted a one-timer there, but didn't get it in the right spot. Now throws it on net. Good save by Kerr on the redirect in front.
That's our man. I still think back home once we get back to some home games in the fall, we need to have Theo's make us some cheese curds. We already had the Jonas Burger, but I want some some Chris curds.
See, that's good marketing.
Yeah, it is.
It's right there in the title.
Oh, yeah.
So how much from where you're at the Hamilton Community Ice Arena, you're kind of tucked away with a whole lot of people
yeah,
in a tiny little area. What's your view of the game like? Are you able to really pick much up? Or?
So it's a little tough. Yeah, back to full strength. Good PK, guys. Yeah, so I'm kind of tucked behind the penalty boxes, behind the off-ice officials. The refs, through literally the hole the size of a puck, will seemingly, to me, whisper the information to our off-ice guys, and then they will relay it to me, and then I relay it into the mic. So if I ever get anything wrong, I was told wrong. I am perfect. I only say what I'm told. But yeah, no, it's awesome. We have a great team, especially back home. It's like our off-ice crew is the best, and I love working with them. Definitely going to miss them until I see them again in the fall.
You and I had a conversation yesterday that lasted probably a good 10, 15 minutes, just revolving around throat care.
Oh, yeah. I have been, like, breakfast, lunch, and dinner has been a bunch of cough drops for me. I have not, like, had a voice since the last official home game for the Sentinels. I had no voice. Ooh. Whose stick was that?
That was Klink tried to let one go.
There we
and
go.
he was in a prime spot, too, and his stick just split right in half.
Hockey.
There it is.
There it is.
I was waiting for one of them.
But, yeah, no, I can't scream it lately because, yeah, my voice is still kind of gone. But I'm on the up and up. But, yeah, lots of Ricola.
Long wrister from the blue line there from Klink. That's a real nice snapshot he's got there. That got on Kerr quickly, and Kerr able to get a glove on it. And hang on with 4 minutes gone by here in period number 2. It's still 1-0 Topeka. So you made the trip out here with a whole clan of people, really. I mean, we've got a group that's here. What are your thoughts on Thief River Falls so far?
It is a very small town. I've grown up in some small towns.
Yeah.
We had a farm in a place called Rock City, Illinois, where I'm pretty sure the population was like less than 1,000 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like the closest neighbor's like 4 miles away kind of place. It feels kind of like that with a little more of a turnout. Like not everyone's going to those same one diner kind of town, but like it's definitely a hockey town though. I've heard a lot of cool things about their local high school teams here, and they seem to be doing awesome. They held World Juniors here, so they got all the flags up there from all the different countries.
Yeah.
This is a very, very cool barn, very cool town. Not much in terms of DoorDash ability.
Oh, good save there from Kerr.
Yeah, buddy.
One-timer from Avery Smith in tight, and Kerr read it beautifully. This one gets flipped out of play. Well, I told the story on the air yesterday, and I don't think you were around for it, but if you take a look at that sign right back there, it says Home of the Prowlers. In between the H and the E, you see there's a little hole there?
Does a bird live in that? What is that?
No, that's a puck.
That's a
been
puck?
sitting there for 20 years, and it happened during the World Juniors, so we've come up with this story. We're not sure if it's true or not, but we think that it was a 2-on-1 with Alex Ovechkin and Evgeny Malkin.
Okay.
They were here.
Yeah.
It's a 2-on-1, and we think that Ovechkin was the one who shot that puck, and it's still stuck there.
That rocks.
So
that's the lore I'm going with.
Before we leave, we're going to go up, we're going to grab it, and we're going to sell it on eBay.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Make a little change out of it.
That's some money moves.
Here's Koash. Nice move. Walks in. Big save by Kerr. Able to shrug that one away. Sentinels needing to lock it down here a little bit in the defensive zone. Scotty Koash coming right down Main Street, and Kerr able to shrug that one aside. Blaisdell from his own zone looking up ahead. Will find Koash. Dawson all over him. Able to strip him of the puck, and Zinchenko will bring it on back. Ross unable to get much mustard on that clearing attempt. Clark able to pick it up. Backhand pass to the middle of the ice. Koash well protected once more there by Anderson. And Dawson will one-hand this one in deep. Picked up Peavy along the wall. He tried to catch the goaltender Lenz out of the net. Couldn't get anything on the shot, though. Now carried on by Steer. He'll flip it high up into the air and back into Sentinel territory where Colarusso will settle it back down. Up ahead for Peavy. He hits the red. He'll dump it in. Jordan Steer from behind his own net will look up ahead. Redirected to Graspy. 2-on-1. He's got Gagnon with him. Sentinels back checking hard. Nice job there, Panovanov getting into the lane. Hard on the back check. Took that off the skate. And it goes out to the neutral zone. Threat neutralized. Panovanov once again unable to push that past LaBelle. Colarusso there to help out. LaBelle trying to kick that one free with a soccer maneuver, and finally Colarusso takes it. He'll send it down the ice, and we'll get an icing call with 13:19 to play here in period 2, which leads us to our first media timeout. You going to stick around a little while longer?
I might come back. I have been holding in a coughing fit for the last 7 minutes.
We got a minute of commercial time, so just hold on a little longer. You're watching the Indiana Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
All right, cheers, guys.
Welcome back. It's 1-0 Topeka, just approaching the halfway point of period number 2. Colin has stepped aside for a boatload of cough drops right now. He might come back later, but awesome to have Colin Fuel on the broadcast. Once again, great to have the whole crew here and a lot of Indiana feel at the arena, both down on the ice and up here in the press box. Been a whole lot of fun. Face-off will be inside the Sentinel zone. Anderson on the draw. Talked before the game about how important the face-off circle is to try to win that battle, and the Sentinels have done a much better job in today's game of making it pretty close to 50-50, if not a little bit more in Indiana's favor of winning those face-offs. Right now it's pinned up just inside the Sentinel zone. Pops free for Graspy. He'll turn around and throw that one toward the net. Bounces right in front for Lord. Good save there by Kerr. Got enough of it with the glove to knock it wide. Now turned over by Cruz, or to Cruz, I should say. He'll find Peavy with Cruz going to the net. There's the pass. Oh, Cruz hard going to the net. Draws a penalty. Awesome job. Tucker Cruz battling through a check going towards the net. Draws that penalty, and the Sentinels going back on the Haas Insurance power play as Nagy goes to the box. 2 minutes for interference. And hopefully the Sentinels are able to convert on this power play. Those are the types of penalties that's just hard-working plays that draw those power plays. Those are the ones that you really want to convert on. They feel so much better. There's a shot by Buchholz, goes up over the net. Held in by Cunningham. Buchholz walking up the wall. Moves it along to Cunningham, who's kind of stuck there along the point. Nice job to get that to Panovanov to release some of the pressure. Bormanis down low, finds Bauer. Buchholz comes down to pick that one back up, looks at his options, hits Cunningham here near side. Cunningham all the way across for Bormanis. Back to Cunningham, one-timer, got blocked on the way through. Back to Cunningham, up top, Panovanov to Bormanis. The one-time snapshot sails wide. Cunningham will pick it back up again. Good pressure from the Sentinels. His shot, hoping for a redirect from Bauer. Didn't get it. It was on the opposite side of his stick. And the Sentinels were able to clear, Scarecrows are able to clear, but the Sentinels turn it right back up again. Buchholz finding Bauer. Buchholz, Bauer, Bormanis. That's the law firm that's going to be starting here pretty soon out in Indiana. That pass goes out to the blue line, just past Panovanov. And out to the neutral zone with under a minute remaining on the Haas Insurance power play. Bormanis will drag it back behind his own net to allow his team to get a full line change. Zinchenko has some space to wheel and deal, and that's exactly what he'll do. And then he gets stripped at center ice. 2-on-0. Klink back and forth. They go, what a play! Zinchenko coming all the way back. He's the one who made the mistake, and he busts his butt to get all the way back to the goal and deny that 2-on-0 chance. What a play by Bo. Made the mistake, but made up for it. He's furious at himself right now, but I'm sure, yeah, he's getting some pats on the back right now from his teammates saying, buddy, that's all right, you made up for it. That was a spectacular play. 33 seconds left to go on the power play for the Sentinels. This one gets past LaBelle and out to the neutral zone. He'll just flip it right back in deep, kill off a little more time. Colarusso from in behind his own net will start the breakout, hits Esposito. Esposito had some trouble with that puck. He was able to nicely evade a couple of checks and still get that to Colarusso. Bormanis unable to get that up to Peavy, taken away by the Scarecrows and cleared all the way down. That will do it for the power play. So 0 for 2 are the Sentinels on the Haas Insurance power play, but that one generated quite a few chances, especially early on, so no need to hang your head about it. Here's Esposito trying to get towards the slot. He gets that hacked off his stick, and it is going to be another penalty here. Going to be a hooking call going to the Scarecrows. This one going to Klink. So right back to the box is Topeka. And he might be getting a little bit more. Yeah, he might be getting a 5 now for running his mouth. Oh, they're giving it a 4. It's going to be a 4-minute penalty, a double minor. All right, so the Sentinels now with a great opportunity, full 4 minutes on the Haas Insurance power play. Here we go. As we welcome back Colin Fiol at a perfect time. A 4-minute, 5-on-4 power play for the Sentinels. Here's Bormanis going down low for Cruz. He'll move it in behind the net. Cruz looking at his options. Got Cunningham near side. He'll hit him there. Buchholz in front. Cross-ice pass for Bormanis. The snapshot. Clark got a stick on it. Descended over the net. Back to Cunningham. He keeps it alive. Down into the corner. Cruz will walk up the wall to the tops of the circles. Down low for Buchholz. Buchholz across. There's Bormanis. The snapshot. Another block there. This time Graspy getting in the way. Picked up by Whalen. He'll clear.
You know, we should just play 5-on-4 all the time. I think it'd help us.
You know what? Let's write to the league.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Don Kernan's still around here somewhere. I think we might actually need to talk to him in person.
We can get, there's a napkin over here somewhere. We can start a petition.
Get everybody up here who is all Sentinels people, by the way.
Exactly.
Minus John Clement, the Topeka broadcaster.
Yeah, I think that's our best shot, honestly.
I think so, too. Here's Esposito coming down the wing. Pulling up, looking to try to go back to the blue line, but taken away from him there by Lind and smacked all the way down the ice. 2:45 left to play on the power play. Ouellette allowing the rest of the guys to get settled. Now Peavy will enter the zone. He's got a man driving. There's Dawson.
Richie. Oh, it's not Richie. That's Dawson.
That's Dawson. He had it just swiped off his stick at the last moment there from Connor Lind. Now Esposito on the far side.
It makes much more sense that it's Dawson, that Richie would have grown like 3 feet.
I was going to say, Richie's on stilts.
I saw the 5 and what looked like a 1. I'll leave the specifics to you.
There you go. I appreciate it. They battle for it along the wall. Cruz trying to pull it out of there. Scarecrows are content to just leave it there and try to kill off a little more of the time on the clock on the power play. This one escapes out to the neutral zone. Ouellette back to grab it. Now Cruz protecting the puck. Has to curl back. We'll leave it off to Bormanis. He's got some space. We'll walk in over the blue line. Christers Bormanis now pulls up. Back out to the blue line. Ouellette is there, throwing it toward the net. Looking for a redirect. Didn't get one. Cruz in behind. Goes to Cunningham on the near boards. Back up top, Ouellette. He'll fire on goal. Looking for the tip. Didn't get it. Bormanis in front. Kick save by Lenz. He was hoping for a Peavy tip. Missed Peavy, but still went on goal, and Lenz had to be ready. Bormanis moving it over for Buchholz, and they're going to get the Sentinels for too many men. Buchholz coming off the bench, trying to get a quick line change, and it's going to be too many on Indiana.
Honestly, how many is too many? I think we could be allowed a couple more.
I'm pretty sure I counted 6 out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Unfortunately. So the Sentinels will be done with their power play opportunity, and we'll go 4-on-4 for the next minute and 18 and step aside for a commercial break. We'll be back right after this on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Vitamin water helps keep me hydrated. Encore. After encore. After encore. Next thing you know, it felt just like this. Come on. Vitamin water from New York.
It's calling me. Like the rainbow. Like the rainbow. It's calling me. Like the rainbow. The rainbow.
7:49 to go in period number 2. The Sentinels with a really nice opportunity there to try to put one on the board and get a little overexcited there by the bench, Colin.
Oh, yeah.
6 guys.
6 guys. Too many folks. But, you know, all the people in Columbus know that I love me some 4-on-4. Wait for it. Hockey!
So, Colin, tell me, what was your hockey knowledge, experience, all that coming into this season?
So I grew up going to games. I'm from Chicago originally, so I grew up going to Blackhawks and Chicago Wolves games. I had some cousins that lived in St. Louis, so when I went to visit them, we played some cul-de-sac hockey. And at the time they lived there, Dallas Drake was playing for the Blues, and he lived in their neighborhood. So we played.
Boy, that's a name.
Dallas
what a
Drake,
name drop.
right?
Holy cow.
So I got to play some cul-de-sac hockey with Dallas Drake, which was cool. I didn't know who he really was at the time, but yeah, it was fun. Otherwise, just cul-de-sac hockey at home. But always grew up a fan, and it's cool to finally be a part of it. I got a jersey with my name on it now.
Yeah. And the number 41.
Oh, yes.
I learned this earlier.
Absolutely. Sum 41 has always been my all-time favorite band, and ever since the days of AIM, for those of you that remember what that was, Colin 41 has always been my name. Then I was late to the Instagram game, and Colin 41 was already taken, so now I have to be the Colin 41. And just to spite me, Colin 41 follows me and actively likes all my stuff.
Are you kidding?
He's an old bald guy.
That's awesome. We stay 4-on-4 here for the next 45. Here's Buchholz looking towards the net, comes right back to him as he cuts to the slot. He gets taken down, and we'll go 4-on-3 now. You like 4-on-4? How about 4-on-3?
I like me some 4-on-3 hockey.
That's good hard work right there.
Oh yeah.
Good hard work coming from Jay Buchholz, trying to cut toward the middle of the net. Ended up getting knocked down to the ice, and Whalen's going to sit down for 2 minutes. So that'll do it for the power play that never really even happened for Topeka.
Yeah, look at him. He knows what he did. We do that outside.
Too rough. And I'm not sure if we've gotten a timeout here or what we've got going on, but both benches are kind of huddling around one another. Yeah, Everett Thompson's taking his timeout here. So realizing that this is a bit of a turning point in the hockey game. It's going to be 4-on-3 here for the next 38 seconds. A lot of space out on the ice. And we certainly want to see something to get converted here for the Indiana Sentinels.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity for sure.
I've talked with a lot of the guys who have been on the team and who have been with the team for a long time, guys like Ethan Esposito and Jonas Lease and all that, about how it's all changed. But you've also been with the team since the very beginning. So talk about just the change that you've seen on the roster in the way that they played the game, because it's certainly different from when we dropped the puck on opening night.
Oh my God, it is night and day, an entirely different team. Not just in who we have, but how we play. When we first played, not that it wasn't fun to watch, but we had a goon squad.
Yeah.
We weren't playing hockey. We were there to throw the most punches, it seemed like, which fun. I love me a good hockey fight. Got me to yell a bunch, which was very fun. Got a lot of people hyped, but now we are a hockey team, and this is we play some good hockey, and it's very fun to watch. Like I said, different team entirely from when we started.
4-on-3 has ended. We are 4-on-4 now. Topeka comes out of the penalty box. Give and go here. Here comes a man to the net. Clark, big save by Kerr.
Hockey.
And we are going to get a whistle here. We're going to get a late penalty call. There was no hand up in the air to start out. It might be the backside official making a call here, or he might have thought that Clark was hurt, either or. No, he's making a late call. There was no hand in the air.
I disagree, sir.
And that's exactly what the coaching staff is saying. There's no hand in the air. So Buchholz is now going to go to the box for slashing. And the Scarecrows are complaining about something. They're about to go on a power play. So with 6:20 left to go in the period, in the last 6 minutes, we've had 5 penalties get called, 3 against Topeka, 2 against the Sentinels. We haven't played 5-on-5
in a bit.
since the 12:41 mark. All right, well, we go 4-on-3 now in favor of the Scarecrows. Scarecrows were 0 for 3 on their power plays yesterday. They're at 22% on the season. Meanwhile, the Sentinels at 77%, killing off penalties this year. 4-on-3, lots of space out on the ice. Here's Klink up top, his shot blocked on the way through. Peavy getting in the way of that as it gets cleared out to the neutral zone. About to be 4-on-4 here in the next 10 seconds. Coming down the wall, there's a shot. Good block there by Panavanov. Lynn let that one go. Panavanov gets in the way. Bauer about to get out of the box. And we are 4-on-4 now.
Yeah, baby.
Klink holding on to it. Bauer gets into the play. Puts it up top for Lord. Lord throwing it to the net. Peavy once again getting in the lane, getting that one with the stick. Bauer chops it out, and it goes all the way down. Icing is waved off as all 4 guys get a line change.
They have the Lord on their team? That's not fair.
I know. Fun fact about me.
Yeah?
I've actually never said this to any of the Sentinels crowd. I am a Scottish Lord.
You are a Scottish Lord?
I own a 1-by-1 piece of land out in Scotland.
That rocks.
That was a birthday present for me one year, and one day before I die, I'm going to go get a cooler that is exactly 1-by-1, and I'm going to sit on that cooler on my piece of land.
Do you think, like, the person who owns that? Yeah, buddy.
Good stop
save
there from Kerr. Wrist shot from Klink.
Do you think the person, like, who has the next square foot next to you is, like, get off my lawn? Or, like, because 1-by-1 is a little
That's who
tough.
I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will be the Karen of that little plot.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, you bet. Don't you worry. So we are now back to a penalty kill. It's a Powerade penalty kill. Shout out here to Ethan trying to keep up with everything, putting up the Powerade penalty kill, the Haas Insurance power play up there. And all to boot, the second period is brought to you by Coca-Cola of Columbus as well. So he's going through all the buttons over there, Ethan. Nice job, bud.
Oh, yeah. We got a great team here.
Absolutely we do.
Oh, gravity got him.
Isn't that the worst?
Yeah. Right. We should just abolish gravity. Because everyone's a floaty guy.
We all float down here.
We all float down here. Or up here in Minnesota.
Yeah. Koash will dump this one in deep. Ross chasing after it in behind. Gagnon unable to strip him of the puck. Comes to the wall where Bird gets knocked to the ice. And Zinchenko going to get called. I think they think he got him with a high stick. I'm relatively positive that puck hit him in the face. I don't think Zinchenko was the one that hit him, but Zinchenko with his stick in the air trying to finish his check in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it's going to be a 5-on-3 for the next 12 seconds.
You know, our national anthem singer, Anna, knows a lot of facts about that guy, Bird.
Yes, she does. I've heard that she's got quite a bit of Bird facts.
She does.
That was a good portion of the trip, I heard.
Yeah.
Coming on down here.
Yeah, a lot of weird stuff about that guy. I didn't know was humanly possible, but, I mean, Anna knows her stuff, so it's got to be true.
All right, we're going to step aside for another commercial break. As the shovels have come out, we're going to pay some bills with some commercials.
Yep. Nice.
We are back in Thief River Falls. The Sentinels now on a 5-on-3 penalty kill. This has been a crazy last almost 10 minutes of hockey. We haven't played 5-on-5 hockey since the 12:41 mark of the second period. And if all goes well here for the Sentinels, we'll go to the 2:32 mark of the second.
I do like some 5-on-3 hockey, but not this direction.
Yeah, it's a little too flip-flopped.
Yeah.
So big chance right now for Topeka to try to double their lead. The Sentinels
our boys got
trying to kill it off. There's LaBelle. He'll put it down. Back up top for LaBelle. The shot. Good save there by Kerr with the blocker. Picked up by Koash. Back up top, LaBelle one time.
Yeah,
Kerr again. There's a pass up top. All alone with Buchholz. But he just was out of the reach. Buchholz once again chasing after it. Will pick off that clearing attempt by Lenz and kill off a little bit of time.
Come on,
Buchholz
buddy.
now holding on to it. Really smart veteran move right there. Buchholz killing off a good 15, 20 seconds now as he puts it back to Peavy. He'll send it down to the blue line. Turn right back up. Scarecrows Koash gets around Lease. As we are 5-on-4 now. Jonas, nice job to get that out to the neutral zone. Lynn turning it right back. Gagnon having to release back to Clark. Now Koash. Scarecrows are caught up just outside the blue line. Finally they get in. Gagnon with it with a minute already gone here on this this Powerade penalty kill.
Come on, Jono.
Sentinels clear it on down. They'll get another line change. Chipped up the wall. Smith had it taken away from him.
Heck yeah.
Lease will send it on down. Here's Bormanis.
Ah!
Unable to get the puck off his stick. Good back check, though, by the Scarecrows to deny that chance. Gagnon getting around the check of Ross. Gets it to the net and Kerr the save. Ross once again will grab that one. He'll clear. 20 seconds left to go. Great penalty kill here from the Sentinels.
And I forgot that there was a chat for this. I see people
Takeaway.
saying
Here's
hi.
Cruz
Hello, everybody.
taking down another penalty. Tucker Cruz has drawn 2 penalties here in the second period, and the bench is loving it. Everybody up on their feet right now for Tucker Cruz. His hard work has drawn 2 penalties as Klink going to go to the Klink. How about that?
Oh, that's the Minnesota
That's never been
boy
done
right
before,
there.
has it?
That's our Minnesota guy. We're here. This is your house, buddy.
And he is playing phenomenal. He hasn't played in a hockey game since January the 16th against Columbus, and he's been awesome. You can tell that he's been on the ice with the boys at practice pretty much every day.
Well, we're 15 away from Bogut now, and I think I saw that he's going right into the thick of it.
I would hope so as Peavy spins away from a check at the blue line. We're 4-on-4 for the next 8. Peavy in the corner goes up top for Panavanov. He'll hold, dropping it back to Peavy as they all move around and rotate inside the zone. Taken away, though, by the Scarecrows, and they'll clear it down the length of the ice. Bo out of the box, and we are now on the Haas Insurance power play.
There we go.
It's a never-ending cycle, is it? Panavanov will move it along to Zinchenko. He'll backhand this one high into the air. Lenz able to track that and left field and make the catch. 1 out. So I also saw recently online that you've made a video game purchase and have rarely left your
oh my gosh, Resident
fortress.
Evil 9, Resident Evil Requiem has been my jam. It is the scariest game I've ever played, and it is the prettiest game I've ever played. A lot of people, like when they finish the game, are posting the screenshot, because at the end of the game, it tells you exactly how long you took to beat it. A lot of people are posting like, yeah, it's an average of like a 9-hour game. And mine was like 17 hours because I found myself most of the time just not even playing the game, just looking at a dilapidated building in the background. I'm like, there is so much detail in this. It's gorgeous. Yeah, if video games could win like Golden Globes, that would get one.
Good stop here on a shot from Buchholz from the circles. And Len's able to make the grab and hang on to it. So it wasn't necessarily the gameplay that was throwing you off. It was just the scenery.
No, it's not necessarily a hard game. Like, it's scary. Like every time it's like, all right, you're going to go through this giant hole that leads to a dark basement. And I'm like, and that's game over because I'm not going down that hole.
you'll never catch me going
Yeah.
down there, but thank you for asking.
Absolutely not. No, but no, that like the voice acting is incredible in that. Like, you can really feel all the emotion, all the sadness, all the fear, the excitement in those actors, and it's just all around 10 out of 10 game for me. It's my favorite Resident Evil. I'd be very surprised if that did not win Game of the Year.
Good job by Kerr to clear this out to the neutral zone. Anderson with it. 40 seconds left to go on the power play. He gets it back from Colarusso as they play catch. Walking down the wall is Richie. Pushing it back up towards the top. Willette will throw it on goal. Looking for a tip from Dawson. Didn't get it. Now Buchholz out in front, unable to get it to Anderson, and cleared out of there by Topeka. Colarusso from in behind the net as there's 1 minute left to play in the third period. 10 seconds left to go on the power play. Esposito coming down the wall. He's able to get the puck in deep, spins it back up to the blue line. Panovanov holding on to it. Out in front for Dawson, knocked away from him. And look out here, look out behind.
no.
Peavy didn't realize he was out of the box, but tripping was clean. Didn't realize the blue line was there. It tripped him up.
It's that gravity, bud.
Now Cruz back over the line with half a minute remaining. Looks to the middle. Panovanov goes up over the net.
A little high.
Out to the neutral zone it goes. Esposito there to hang on to it. He'll drop it back for Peavy. He banks it out to the neutral zone. Bormanis. Oh, he's hoping for Cruz, but it's just a little bit out of his reach. And the Scarecrows will spin it right back out with under 10 seconds left to go in the period. Kerr back to play it. Hops over his stick. Peavy is there. He'll start walking it out to the neutral zone, and that will do it for the second period of play. So
Alrighty.
not much going on in terms of goal scoring, but we had a march to the penalty box. 4 penalties for Topeka in the period. 3 of them to the Sentinels, and we didn't get back to 5-on-5 hockey until the 46-second mark left of the second period. So we spent over 11 minutes of penalty time on the clock not being at 5-on-5. And that is where we are through 2. Shots are 12 on either side. 12 for Topeka, 12 for Indiana. And we will get ready for the third period. Colin, it's been a blast. Thank you for being part of it.
Thank you so much for having me, dude.
Absolutely.
This is fun.
Great time having you. Okay, so we've got one last leg of that interview with the Minnesota Northern Lights GM. Let's jump over to that.
Sure.
Well, you mentioned the team coming in here will be named the Minnesota Northern Lights. What goes into naming a franchise? I know the fan base also kind of had a bit of a finger in the water there, but what goes into that?
Well, I think it's you're trying to listen to the public, put stuff out on Facebook. Our Facebook and social media director is outstanding. We've got 5,300 followers and over 1 million for views in 3 months, which is pretty remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
But he's done a phenomenal job and done a great job to put things in order. Getting the word out there. What's a great name for a team? And of course, up here, it used to be a pretty moose-laden area. It's not anymore because of the brain worm or whatever it's called, and they've died out. But there's still some moose up here. So we thought when we got the moose involved, and kind of where that came from is kind of a funny thing, trying to get the public involved. If you remember in the movie Miracle, where Herb Brooks says to his wife, he says, "We hit a moose in Thief River."
Oh my goodness!
So we actually thought about calling the moose Miracle, but we thought that was a little crazy. And we actually had a moose that had the Band-Aids on him. It looked like he'd been beat up and stuff.
My God.
So, but Twig is the name of our moose, and for a mascot, and that came kind of an interesting story. It came through a Native American saying that they call the moose the twig eaters. And, everybody knows if you've been in hockey long enough that the guys will say, pick up your twig.
Yeah.
Kind of a slang word for a hockey stick. So it really did make sense. And so, that's where we're at.
That's awesome. Really cool. Well, you've got 2 teams here in their inaugural season. One is on the precipice of making it into the playoffs. The other one has been out of the playoffs, but has really built kind of a cult following out in Columbus, Indiana. So what are the top items that you are trying to knock off of your list coming into the inaugural season for Northern Lights next year, should they get across the finish line?
Yeah, I think that the Sentinels and the Scarecrows have done a fabulous job, and they've worked very hard, and the staff have worked hard to really produce a really fine program. And it takes time, as the old saying is, Rome wasn't built in a day, neither was a hockey team. So you have to have the right coaching staff, and I know you guys have been through a couple, but I think Everett's done a fabulous job. Robbie's done a fabulous job with Topeka. And you have to have that character coach, the guy that knows the game but can lead the players and be a good leader on and off the ice. That's one of the things we're gonna look at. We've got a few guys that we're talking to and discussing it with. Making sure that you have a good brand. You get into the public, you let them know who you are and what you're doing. That communication process is very important, because if they don't know when you're playing or they don't know what's going on, they're not going to follow you.
Yeah.
So, but and just having the team colors, the team logos, the branding, which I think that both teams have done a fabulous job on, very important. So.
Talked about making sure that this gets over the finish line first, so not trying to put the cart before the horse. But when it comes to looking at your roster for next year, obviously this is the state of hockey. So a lot of hockey players being grown here. Yeah. Are you trying to be a little more homegrown, or you got a pretty wide lens?
Yeah, we want to be competitive. Obviously, that's our biggest position in the league, Andy. But this is a state of hockey. There's a lot of hockey players here. So I would assume, and I don't want to make too many assumptions, but I would assume that we'll have a lot of Minnesota hockey players on the team. I was actually approached for a Russian kid the other day, and I'm going, why are you coming to this league? This kid's he's unbelievable. I'm going, if he would be a top player in this league.
Yeah.
And so, but the kids in Eastern Europe, the kids overseas, they're looking for that opportunity to get here to get seen.
Yeah,
so.
I love it. Well, last question for you. Obviously, you want to see a full building and you want to see this be successful. You got any skin in the game as far as what's going on the ice? We got a Sentinels jersey back there for you to toss on if you wanted to walk around with it.
Yeah. Well, for me, I'm just happy and very appreciative that both teams came here. Yeah. We've tried to roll out the red carpet for them. I think the guys, Everett and Robbie, have appreciated. They had good meals last night. The locker room set up. We got water, we got pop, we got all the stuff for them, the towels and good soap and stuff. So we're trying to treat them right. We've got some meeting rooms for them that Everett used this morning. We're just trying to treat them right. Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, I think that the guys, both teams, Robbie and Everett, and both franchises, really appreciate the rolling out that we've done for them. I mean, the resort that the guys are staying at, I think, is a nice resort. They got things to do. It's really something that we take pride in, is putting forth the effort to make sure that they're very welcome.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with us.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. I appreciate it very much.
Thanks.
Good luck tonight for the Sentinels.
Thank you. All right. We'll be back with more right after this.
All right, big thanks to Sean Jones for taking some time out of his busy schedule. He's pretty much running just about everything up here for the Minnesota Northern Lights, so he's been running around all weekend. It was nice of him to take a little bit of time out to spend that with us and give us a little more insight as to what's going on. We're certainly excited for the opportunity to be here and promote what they've got going on out in Thief River Falls, so really, really good stuff. 1-0 Topeka here through 40 minutes of play. The final shot's now actually reading 14-12 in favor of Topeka. They've added a couple since the period had ended. So once again, nothing on the scoreboard as far as goals are concerned, but lots of penalties. 7 penalties to finish out that period, all of them coming in the last 12 minutes and 41 seconds, and pretty much right as one of the penalties had expired, another one was taken. So we didn't get a chance to play 5-on-5 hockey until the last 45 seconds of that period. So a lot of craziness going on. I'm sure the boys are going to want to try to clean it up here in the third period of play. Before we head to commercial break, another look around the league. As we said, overtime win for Twin City over the Athens Rock Lobsters. Port Huron holds on for the 2-1 win over Watertown. And Danbury stays alive yet another day as they beat Binghamton 6-4 in regulation. So Topeka will not be able to clinch playoff berth today. You'll have to wait for another day. The Monroe Moccasins almost did it 2 nights in a row. They came back in the third period with 2 goals, one early on by Austin Pick and one with about 13 minutes left to go by Carlos Fernares. But in overtime, Columbus able to win on Kirk Underwood's goal with 3:34 remaining in overtime, or 3:34 into overtime, I should say. So the River Dragons pull out the overtime victory there at home. PD losing to Blue Ridge by a score of 3-0, that being in the third period with just a couple minutes left to go in that hockey game. And Baton Rouge and Biloxi out in Mississippi, that's halfway through the second period. The Breakers leading that one by a score of 2-1. Here in Thief River, it's 1-0 Topeka. We'll step aside and be back with the third period right after this. You are watching Sentinels Hockey on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
It's calling me like the rainbow. It's calling me like the rainbow. The rainbow.
Scott and his entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter, and it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope, it's in our blood.
Final period here in Thief River Falls, Minnesota at the Ralph Engelstad Arena. The Sentinels trail it 1-0 through 40 minutes of play. And the last 12 of it in that second period was spent in the penalty box by both teams. 7 penalties to finish out that period, and we are finally back to 5-on-5. Let's hope it stays that way for the sake of the flow of the game. And as always, the third period of Sentinels hockey brought to you by Ryan Furr Creative as we are back underway. We'll have the man himself join us here in the third period, Mr. Ryan Furr. The Sentinels now dump it in. Anderson able to get that in deep. Took a strange hop off the backboards there. Ends up going right through the slot and out the other side. Anderson was tied up in front. Otherwise, he had a chance to shovel that one home. Now Peavy trying to settle down a bouncing puck. Pulls up along the wall. Coming out towards the blue line. Nearly lost it. Was able to still throw towards the net. Redirected by Anderson just wide. A little bit of a nothing play there. And Peavy doing the right thing. Just throwing the biscuit toward the net. Redirected by Anderson just wide of the goal. Koash on the intercept in the neutral zone, spinning away from a check, realizing he's 1-on-4. He likes to fight another day and dumps that one in deep. Kleber, nice move to try to get around Koash. Koash stuck with him the whole time. Now Zinchenko moving it out to the neutral zone, and we get a whistle stopping play. Behind the play, there's a little hacking and whacking going on. I believe they're going to get both Koash and Kleber going to the box. That's exactly what it'll be. So we'll go 4-on-4 here for the next 2 minutes. Well, this is how everything started in the second period. We were 4-on-4, then we went to 4-on-3, and then we went to a 5-on-3, and then we went to a 5-on-4. And it flip-flopped all over the place. It was a bit of a mess in the second period. We'll see if it levels out here in period number 3, but a lot of space out on that ice. And 4-on-4 play. Sentinels have the right group out there to try to take advantage of it. A lot of speed out on the ice, especially up front with Zinchenko and Buchholz. Colarusso and Panovanov on the back end. Pass across, Panovanov steals that and will start moving back the other way. 2-on-2, he's got Bormanis with him. Wrist shot here from Panovanov, deflected off of Whalen and off the side of the net. Picked up by the Scarecrows. Klink will start coming through the neutral zone, trying to juggle his way in. He does. Big save by Kerr, fought it off. What a play by Stephen Klink to slice and dice his way through a couple of defenders and fire one on net, and it's fought off by Kerr. Keeps it 1-0. Bormanis pulling up at the blue line, looking across for Colarusso. That pass was in between his feet, but it comes back to Colarusso in the corner. He's outraced that puck there by Blaisdell. And now Lord to the blue line. The Sentinels blue line stood up there by Jonas Lees. Good defensive play. He'll make it 3-on-3 back the other direction. Lees dipping his shoulder, throwing it to the net, hits the side of the goal, caught up in Peavy's skates. Now finally pulled out of there by the Scarecrows and cleared all the way up to Lord here, who's waiting. Spinning around, trying to get through Cunningham, realizing there's a forward back playing D. Now Graspy at the point, watched closely there by Willett. Lynn walking in, his shot hit Willett on the way through. He'll pick it up in behind and move it out to Lees. Half a minute left to go on the 4-on-4. Jonas Lees looking up ahead, out of the reach of Peavy. This one will go the length of the ice for an icing call. As we get the man, the myth, the legend, Ryan Furr of Ryan Furr Creative and now owner of the Indiana Sentinels joining us. Ryan, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we're out here, we're trying to grow the league a little bit, and so it's an honor for the Sentinels to get asked out here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's been pretty awesome being up here.
Has it lived up to your expectations of what you thought was, going to kind of play out?
It's hard. You never know coming into a place where they don't have a team
right
like this established yet, and of course we're in a very different lay of the land than we have in Indiana. This is very much hockey country. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's been great. The whole crew here has been really good, and hopefully this place will really give a warm reception to a new team coming in here.
Well, you're obviously a man who wears many hats around the Columbus, Indiana area.
Yep.
What were some of the items that you wanted to check off of your checklist coming into this on both sides of it, on the Sentinel side and the Ryan Fur Creative side? Because, I mean, we've got pretty much everybody up here running this show, and it's been just a spectacular event.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think definitely coming in as on the production side and the broadcast with Ryan Fur Creative, we were excited just because we're typically a little more limited by space, and this was a great opportunity to just bring a whole crew up here and make some bigger plans for the broadcast and really start to find our way. On the Sentinel side, super excited to get up here. My first away game with the team. Very exciting. Good shot right there.
Yeah, great stop there. Dawson coming in. Letting that one go on a delayed penalty as well. So the Sentinels going back to the Haas Insurance power play. But yeah, going back to what you were saying, it's kind of nice to be able to stretch our legs a little bit and get exactly an idea of what we could potentially do back at home, right?
Yep, I think so. This I feel like this venue here is a very good comparable example of what we could do in Columbus, and obviously with coming into ownership of the team, that was certainly my view of the team was the potential, So we obviously played a small community rink, but I think the support just continues to grow for the team.
Yeah.
And being able to check out this facility and something I think similar to what we could build in Columbus is pretty awesome.
There's a pass out in front for Cunningham, rolls in on goal, and it popped loose for a moment, but it was covered just long enough by Lenz for the whistle to sound. A lucky break there for Topeka. There were 4 white sweaters all around the crease trying to pop that puck free, and it looks like Cruz is going to end up getting a penalty here. Tucker Cruz just trying to go to the net. I think they're going to call him for goaltender interference, so 7 seconds into the power play, and that'll do it. We'll go back to 4-on-4. It's almost a carbon copy of what we saw in the second period.
Here we go again.
Here we go again, indeed. So I am curious as far as ownership is concerned. What are the similarities and differences that you've seen between, owning your own thing in Ryan Fur Creative and now coming in with the Sentinels?
Sure. I mean, there's certainly, some basic similarities on the business side, but it is a very different world, that's for sure. Obviously, going from my team on the production side, having a crew of about 7 people to going to a bigger organization with a whole bunch of players and just a little bigger staff. But, I mean, honestly, I think that the principles are there. I think with just how I've tried to build business and how I like to build relationships and just the way I want to interact and treat people, I think translates across any kind of business. So yeah. I'm really excited just to maybe bring something different to the league from what I've seen, and not necessarily in a good or bad way, but I just think I have a very different perspective than some other owners who've been in this league for a long time, who've been around hockey for a long time, and hopefully it'll be something kind of refreshing in the league and something new.
Well, sometimes it is kind of nice to have somebody who's, not been in the hockey game for their entire life. I mean, the general manager out in Carolina, I'm pretty sure he's a finance guy, and he's got something to do with statistics or something like that, and he had never seen hockey a day in his life, and he's really turned that organization around out in Carolina. So it's kind of nice to have a breath of fresh air in that regard, for sure.
Yeah.
Couple really big saves here by Chris Kerr in tight here on the 4-on-4. 15:28 left to go in the third period. It stays 1-0 Topeka, but the Sentinels need to find a way to get it out of their own end and start throwing some pucks on net. I said earlier, quality over quantity as far as shots are concerned, but we're about to hit the 15-minute mark of the third period. They've only got 14 pucks on net so far. So let's hope they're able to find a couple more ways to get that number up a little bit. Koash now pinned up along the wall by Elise and pulled out to center ice. Elise able to get around the check of Klink, moved over to Panavanov. They stay on side. Zinchenko at the blue line. Leaving it to Panavanov, backdoor. Peavy, hopped over his stick. Peavy will pull it right back up again, leaving it to Zinchenko. Across to Panovanov. Bormanis coming off the bench. PB down low. Looking in the middle of the ice. Can't get it there. Spins back. Back to Bormanis at the point. He'll throw it into the corner where Klink. It's pinned up by Zinchenko. And a four-man scramble ensues. Zinchenko knocked off of his stick. Pulled right back out by Koash of the Scarecrows. He's hit, though, by Zinchenko. Can't get the puck out. Now Willett down low. Looking across for Bormanis. That's knocked down out of midair. And a possible 2-on-1 for the Scarecrows. It's Koash and Klink. Koash to Klink. They score! Oh, Kerr got just a little bit of it. Not enough. Ends up going off of Chris Kerr and into the back of the net. Topeka doubles their lead. It's 2-0. All right, Stephen Klink with his 33rd goal of the year, his second of the weekend. And he picks up his 9th this year against the Sentinels on a 2-on-1 break. And a tough break for Indiana as well. They had held court inside the offensive zone, had a really nice shift, just unable to find a way to put the puck in the back of the net. And it looks like Indiana might look at this for a potential offsides play. Yeah, Paul Jean is going to go to the video booth. All right, I like this move from Everett Thompson. I mean, he must see something because this is a one-goal game with still a lot of time remaining. He doesn't want to waste this video review. So we'll see what ends up happening here. And while we've got just a couple of seconds, back to you, Ryan. We've talked about it this weekend, how the whole crew is out here, and they've done such a remarkable job putting everything together. And they've done a remarkable job all season long. But like I said, it's nice to see everybody kind of stretch their legs and see exactly how high we could set that bar, you know? So what can you say about your crew and what they've done all season long?
Oh, man. I can't really say enough about these guys. They put really everything they have into it. And, you know, I give direction where I can, but they've really just ran with it. I mean, we are mostly new to the broadcast world, so it's a whole different animal than the typical kind of production we do. But Thomas, Ethan, Jordan, all the other guys who've been supporting, running cameras and everything, it's been incredible, even just see where it's come from the beginning of the season to where we're ending the season and already starting to plan for next year. I think I'm really excited with where we're going to be.
Yeah, we've really set the bar pretty high coming out here. I mean, we've tried pulling out all the stops, and it's looked really, really sweet. So we're all excited for next season. And obviously the Sentinels have been eliminated from the playoff picture, and a lot of that due to just a really tough start on the ice. And, you know, there was a bit of a redemption arc towards the middle in November and December, but it fell off after the new year. So, you know, even though the stats show that it was a bit of a tougher season off of the ice, how happy are you with the way that just the city and the fan base has rallied around the Sentinels? I mean, it's almost kind of a cult following at this point.
Oh, completely. Yeah. I mean, I've been amazed even just prior to ownership, not knowing coming in what things were going to look like, and just the response from people was incredible. So I've been super happy with how it's already started to grow. Just talking with a lot of other key people in the community now and the support that they want to give the team, I'm just incredibly positive with the outlook for the team and what it looks like to grow the fan base, to just create some great entertainment in Columbus, because there's not a whole lot that happens all the time. There's really nothing like what we're doing in Columbus on that consistent of a basis that is such a great attraction for families and everybody.
It's phenomenal. I mean, you walk into the Ham, and, you know, during game time, you take a look at the fan base, and you might think it's, you know, it's one group of people, or it's, you know, it's older people, or, you know, whatnot, but you see it is a full family thing. You've got people who are, you know, in their elderly stage, but you've also got young kids that are also running around as well. So it's fun for just about everybody, and I'm sure everyone's kind of chomping the bit for the 26-27 season to come around and come back home. Is there anything that you guys have started to put together for the 26-27 season just yet, or is that something a little bit later down the line?
I mean, we've definitely got plans.
Yeah.
There's some stuff certainly we don't want to reveal that we're already excited about that's in the midst of planning. But, no, I think a lot of plans just to be way more engaged in the community as far as the players go and the team goes.
Absolutely.
It's going to be great. Yeah. There's a lot that we're wanting to do on the promotional side because even though Columbus is a smaller market, there's still such a huge part of the population that doesn't know what's happening in that little community rink that we're in, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like we're putting out something that's a lot bigger than you would expect coming in there. And just the response we've heard from people, especially being in Indiana, of, well, I've never been to a hockey game before, or I've never been a hockey fan. And they're just immediately on board
with it. Yeah.
Yes, and are coming back every game. So
that's awesome.
It's pretty amazing.
Well, this was one of the longer reviews that I've ever seen, and I want to thank you for being on because otherwise there'd be a lot of dead air going on right now. You're going to try to find something to talk about, but thank God for you to be on here and take up a little bit of that dead air as Paul Jean is ready to come on out. Let's see, is this onside or offsides? Onsides, it's going to stay a goal, 2-0 Topeka. You know, in times like that where it takes a little longer, that's a coin flip because that means it is like a centimeter away from being offsides. So a penalty is now going to be awarded to the Sentinels because they did not win that challenge. So it's going to be 4-on-3 now for the next 30 seconds. Or excuse me, next 22 seconds, and then it'll turn to a 5-on-3. That'll only last for 8 seconds, though, before getting to a 5-on-4. That was quick math right there. I'm not going to lie.
That was really impressive.
That one hurt a little bit. I've got a headache now. All right, so 4-on-3 we go. It's 2-0 Topeka. After a long video review, both teams really able to catch their breath a little bit on the bench. Here's Koash in behind the net. He'll go out to the opposite side for Gagnon. Klink up top, looking at firing one. Kerr able to get enough of that to knock it to the corner. Now back up top for Koash. It's 5-on-3. A Smith out of the box. Down low, Gagnon back door. Oh, that one just jumping over LaBelle's stick. Cleared out of there, right onto the tape of Tucker Cruz. Here he goes through the neutral zone. Koash, one of the fastest guys in the league, catches up to him. Cruz is still able to get control of it and toss it in deep. Killed off a little bit of time. Tucker Cruz, boy, that was perfect, coming right out of the box, right onto his tape. Pass out to the high slot, Klink, holding onto it. Looking up to the blue line, but nobody home there for Topeka, and Gagnon has to double back. A minute left to go on the power play. The Powerade penalty kill has done a spectacular job in this game so far. PV chasing after it. Going to be another penalty here to Indiana. A high sticking call. Paul Jean getting that one right in the corner. This one's going to be a high stick. Oh, actually, it might be against the Scarecrows. Ross is holding his face. I thought it might have been Indiana getting the penalty here. No, it's going to end up going to Topeka. -1 for Andy. Gagnon going to the bench, going to the penalty box. A 4-minute. So there's some blood there for Ross. He might have, if he caught that in the mouth, might have lost a tooth or two. And now it's going to be a timeout for Topeka. All right, so a little more time for Ryan and I to talk. They're really testing my limits right now over here. All right, so we have talked about the season ticket deal that's rolling right now between now and May 1st. Ethan, if we can get that graphic up, the season ticket deal, tell us a little bit about where this kind of came from and the details behind it.
Yeah, it was all Colin's idea. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're trying to keep things affordable. We want it to be super family friendly, and honestly, we we want to get people to a game because
yeah,
it's incredible. And I think people are missing out if they don't just come to a game and see what's happening. And we also, like we talked about, we've got some people who are super engaged already, who've been so overly supportive of the team. We really wanted to do something. We feel like we're giving a really good deal on an entire season of hockey. And so we really wanted to do something for people who were already committed to it, already engaged, and wanted to support the team and kind of give something back to them to get them in there for every game this season. So,
and there's a comment on our YouTube chat talking about one of the billboards by the outlets on 69. Every time I drive down for the weekend, I see that billboard. It's pretty much always on. I saw, I think it's Hips that's on that billboard, and it looks great, and it always kind of warms my heart a little bit. I feel like, all right, I'm here, I made it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. We appreciate that's part of our partnership with Sprague Hotel Developers. And it has been awesome to just be visible out there all the time, because right now for us, that's just huge.
Absolutely. I mean, word of mouth is everything, especially in the FPHL. All right, well, tell me if you've heard this. Stop me if you've heard it before. We're back to 4-on-4 hockey here in Thief River Falls. Zinchenko in behind, looking over to Anderson. And you've got to be kidding me. Do we have another penalty? No, we've got an injured referee or injured linesman, pardon me. He is injured just in front of the Topeka bench. I didn't exactly see what had happened. We're kind of shielded from up here. I mean, just a terrible view that we've got. I mean, really.
Yeah, right?
Just
it's
awful.
Rough up here.
But he has taken some time. The training staff is out to take a look at the linesman. And a really good shot here from our Ryan Fur creative group just to see exactly what we've got going on. Yeah, he kind of gets pinned up along the wall there. Anderson and one of the Topeka players end up going barreling into the wall, and he just kind of comes up lame. Can't really put up any weight on that right leg as he's able to get himself off the ice and get some help down the tunnel. So we'll run with a 3-man crew for the foreseeable future. 2 referees and a linesman, which not very long ago, that's how things ran here in the FPHL. And that 4-man crew has really smoothed things out quite a bit. Now the officials getting together, trying to make sure everybody knows what their responsibilities are.
They may call me down if I have to go.
All right. Well, if we do have to let you go, you got any shameless plugs for what's going on with Ryan for Creative? Any cool events coming up? I know you guys do a bunch of concerts all that kind of stuff.
We do all kinds of stuff. We do actually we've got a concert coming up. There's a theater in Columbus called the Crump Theater. Super cool old historic theater. We've got a concert coming up there with Rhett Walker April 26th, I believe. And so we're super excited about that, just to be able to get some events happening and getting some life back into that theater. I think it sat pretty much empty for quite a long time.
Oh, my goodness.
And so starting to revive that. There's a project fundraising for a big remodel right now. So, yeah, we're super excited to do some more in there.
Well, thank you for stopping by. I know you've got some things you probably got to take care of. So thank you very much, Ryan.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Back to the play. Here's a 2-on-1, maybe a 3-on-1. Clark moving it over. Wrist shot. Big save by Kerr. Kicked out of there with a passion. Now Peavy. Cross-ice pass deflects. Comes right back to Panavanov. And now the Sentinels about to go on the power play for the next 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Here we go in the Haas Insurance power play. Panavanov down the wall. Holding it in behind the net. The second time the Sentinels have had a double minor power play opportunity. We're unable to convert on the first one. Now have 3 minutes left to go here on the second opportunity. Cunningham from behind his own net. Colarusso will look over the options. Hit Cunningham on the near side. He gets the red line. Will dump this in deep. Stopped in behind there by Lenz. He'll send it high up off the glass and cleared back all the way down. Kerr has to come out and play it as Klink coming down. Good job by Kerr to get that out to the neutral zone. That was a breakaway for Klink otherwise. Interception here by Colarusso trying to hit Cruz coming through center ice, but Cruz blew a tire. Now Cunningham moving it off to Bormanis. Bormanis to the goal. Bounces in behind. Buchholz trying to go from a sharp angle, making sure Lenz was on his post. He was. A good idea there from Buchholz trying to sneak that one home. 2 minutes just about left to go on this power play. Willett. We almost lost Ryan. He almost fell off his chair behind me. Goodness gracious. Cleared all the way down again by Topeka. Here's Klink looking up front for Koash. What a save by Kerr. Oh, a redirect in front by Koash, and Kerr made the save. Back the other way, it's Esposito firing. That one deflected wide. He gets taken down behind the play. Gonna draw a penalty. Give him the puck. Take the 5-on-3. Slap shot from Millette. Redirected by Anderson over the net and out of play. And we'll get a stoppage here. 5-on-3 for a minute and a half for the Indiana Sentinels as Esposito had his feet taken out from underneath him. And with 10:39 to go, another opportunity for the Sentinels as Klink heads to the box for tripping. All right, so Everett Thompson throws out Buchholz, Cunningham, and Cruz with Bormanis and Willett on the back end to start out this 5-on-3. Face-off won by the Sentinels. Willett trying to pinch down and grab that one, but it was swiped away from him and chased down by Clark. He gets knocked off the puck by Cunningham. We get another penalty, and the 5-on-3 now turns into a 4-on-3. Cunningham trying to go to the penalty box. Gets knocked around a little bit there by LaBelle. It's going to be 2 minutes for tripping. Cunningham calling for a dive from the penalty box. Not going to get it. But here we go again. The penalty fest continues. Face-off coming back in the Sentinel zone. They still have a power play for the next minute and 49 seconds. 4-on-3, and LaBelle realizing that is going to take it all the way back to his own zone, kill off some time, and send it down. Unfortunately, though, couldn't get it past Jonas Lees. Lees, that pass missing. Zinchenko to go the length of the ice. And we get an icing call. Well, while we've got a second, let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Indiana Sentinels. After this weekend, we'll move on to Athens for two, a Friday and Saturday at 7:05 Eastern time, and then we'll finish out the season in Topeka. Those are going to be a couple late ones. Hope you guys grab your cup of coffee, especially on Sunday night. All three 8:05 starts to finish out the Sentinel season. Here's Zinchenko coming in over the line. Dawson thought he was going to get that pass. Did not, and it forced the Sentinels offsides. And we'll get a whistle stopping play and immediate timeout, I believe. Yes, we are getting the Shovelers. All right, we'll step aside for commercial break and be back right after this. You're watching the Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network. Well, there was a bit of a discussion when we went to commercial. Paul Jean calling over Scott Koash and Blake Peavy to have a discussion with both of them, and he did call the other officials over, as we do have our linesman back on the ice again. Looks like he's going to be all right. Probably just a stinger, so thank goodness. So we go back to a 4-man crew, but he was talking to both of those guys, both the captains, and more or less just trying to get an idea of what they were talking about just from the hand signals. As here's Dawson coming in over the line, gets stripped of it and cleared out of there by the Scarecrows. Graspy cutting toward the net, trying to throw a shot on goal, missed it, and it turns into a 2-on-1 back the other way. Buchholz and Esposito. Here's Buchholz walking in to Esposito. He scores! Ethan Esposito! That one is for Grandpa. Ethan Esposito hasn't had a point in the last 14 games. Picks up a huge goal right there for Grandpa. Attaboy Espo. 2-1. Boy, if that doesn't inject some life into this bench, I don't know what will. What a pass as well from Buchholz to hit Esposito right on the tape, and he was able to slap that one home. It is 2-1 Topeka. As we stay 4-on-4 now for the next 40 seconds before Klink comes out of the box. Here comes Buchholz. Nearly overskated the puck, was still able to get it up to Lease. Now Bauer chasing after it. Gets his stick lifted. And now pushed back out by the Scarecrows. Koash over the line, holding onto it. Will curl at the wall. Tries to put it back down low. That's taken away. Lord will move it across. Now LaBelle walking up top. Trying to cycle it around, but had it stripped off of his stick. And now Lease will start coming back the other way. Jonas Lease unable to drag it around to check. Lost an edge. 2-on-1 now for the Scarecrows. Started by Lord. He's got Whalen. Lord shoots. Saved by Kerr. Got caught up in Willette, who had gone down. He was able to take that puck with him. It gets cleared all the way out. Powerade penalty kill is over, and we are back to 5-on-5. Held in at the blue line. Pass down low. Bormanis in tight. Tried to slip that one home, but was stopped by Lenz. Up ahead, it's Bird. Another possible 2-on-1. Bird couldn't get the shot off. Rebound. Kerr able to make the save. Things opening up now. Moved up ahead, Bormanis. 1-on-3. Will chip this around to check and carry it in. Nice job by Bormanis to stick with it. Wrapped in behind the net. Blaisdell will send it up the wall. Held in at the blue line by Kleber. Ross now moving it down low. Swiped off the stick of Bormanis in front. Now Lord in the corner, taken away by Peavy in behind. Blake Peavy holding onto it, banking it off the wall, up top for Cleaver. He'll wrist one on net, that save made. Rebound was covered up by Lenz. It was loose for a moment, but Lenz able to grab that one, pick it up, and hang on to it with 7:31 to play in the third period. The Sentinels finding another gear. And how about the job from the PK crew here from the Indiana Sentinels? Killed off all 8 power plays for the Scarecrows. Awesome job done by the PK crew, who is running with 5 defensemen right now. Off the draw, Dawson wins it. Anderson wins it, pardon me. Esposito's wrist shot gets blocked. Goes out to the neutral zone. Here's Dawson. He'll backhand it in. Puck cut up along the wall. Anderson nearly overskated and sent out of there by the Scarecrows. Panavanov trying to spin away from Lynn, unable to do so. Kerr out to play the puck. Moves it along to Dawson. He'll outlet it out to center ice for Espo. 1-on-4. Gets caught up in the neutral zone and dumped in by Anderson. Sentinels need to tag up. It ends up going out to center ice anyway. Klink, the wrist shot, goes wide of the net. Clark will put it right back down low for Klink. Out the opposite side, tries to bounce off of Colarusso, then goes to the deck trying to draw a penalty, not going to work. Now Ritchie in the corner will send it up the wall. Dawson there, he'll send it out to the neutral zone. Scarecrows will turn it right back in. Sent on net, goes wide of the goal actually. Cruz able to beat Bird to that puck and send it on down. From behind his own goal, Josh LaBelle will set everything up on their breakout. He's also fully willing to eat up a little bit of time on the clock. Got 6 minutes remaining. You hear Everett Thompson saying, Cruz, come back. But LaBelle is just, he's happy to stay back there as long as possible. Chip deep into the Sentinels end. Graspy after it. Gets hit there by Kleber. And I don't know where he's at, but I hear him screaming hockey. Colin Fiol. Graspy from the wall. Will cut out to the middle of the ice. He fires one, blocked by Buchholz, and it goes out to the neutrals. And Buchholz gets a stick up high. We're not going to get a penalty. We play on. Kleber out to the neutral zone. Couldn't get that puck in deep. Ross will try to follow up. Coming in over the line, Kleber unable to exit in time. It's going to be an offside call on the Sentinels with 5:18 on the clock here in the third period. Shots now 24-18 in favor of Topeka. A lot of that coming here in the third period, credited with 10 shots on net, the Scarecrows. Most of that early on in this third period. Cleared up the wall and down. This one would have been icing, but Bird able to outrace Willette to the puck. Bird in the corner. Panovanov had a stick knocked out of his hand, and it looks like they caught it. Yes, sir, it's going to be an interference call. Panovanov gets his stick knocked out of his hands by Avery Smith. Smith's going to get called for interference, and another Hawes Insurance power play for the Sentinels. They are credited with 11 power plays so far. This will be the 12th. And they haven't scored on one yet. So with 5:01 to play in the period, the Sentinels getting a little more life on their bench. Now have a power play. Esposito keeping it in at the blue line, tries to get that in deep, didn't get a lot on that dump in, and it's cleared back out of there by the Scarecrows. Ivan Panovanov with some help from Kerr from in behind the net. We'll move it over to Bormanis. He's got some space to wheel on the opposite side. He'll chip it towards the goal. Played along there by Lenz. Thought he might have covered that puck, but gets some help from his D to clear this one out. It's another Hawes Insurance power play. Panovanov from behind his own goal will hit Cunningham here on the near side. Cunningham around Klink. Tried to get around Gagnon as well, but Gagnon cuts him off and is able to smack that one hard enough to get it all the way down to the Sentinels' end. Both teams finishing up some line changes now. A minute gone on this power play for Indiana. Zinchenko will chip it in. Lease after it. Unable to get to that puck, but Dawson sealing off the wall. Keeps that clearing attempt in. Goes back down low for Lease. Zinchenko now out on the opposite side. Switching with Colarusso. We'll leave it there for him on the wall. Cross-ice pass hits Willette. Willette holding. Looking up top. Zinchenko fires. They score! Tipped out in front. Bo Zinchenko, the slapper from the blue line, had Colarusso and Dawson out in front of the net. Don't know who it touched. Might have been Ritchie. We're tied. It's a Hawes Insurance power play goal. The Sentinels with power play tallies in 2 games straight. And they tied it up at 2. We'll wait for official confirmation on who got that goal, but Richie Colarusso was the man leading the handshake line, so if it's him, that's his first goal in the last 12 games, his first point in the last 10. And we are tied up at 2 and rocking up in the press box. Here's Cruz trying to clear it out. Now Ross leaving it for Kleber. Couldn't get it out on the first try. Now Ross will try in the second try. They are going to give it to Bo. We'll see if that ends up changing afterwards, but Bo Zinchenko credited with the goal. That is his 15th goal of the year. So here's a shot from a bad angle, wraps around the wall and goes out to the neutral zone. LaBelle there. It's slapped in deep. Kleber will chase after it and hit Peavy. Chipped up ahead, Ross will move it out to the neutral zone. Lease after it. Jonas Lease driving down low and in behind the net, then gets thrown into the boards. We're going to get another penalty. Boy, I'll tell you, another hard-working play by the Sentinels, just outworking the Scarecrows, drawing another penalty as Lease gets thrown into the boards from behind by Whalen, and Lease has a couple words for him. Jonas Lease, normally a very even-keeled, calm-headed individual. You know, if he's got words for you, you certainly did something wrong. But Gordon Whalen gonna go to the penalty box. And we will head to a commercial break. So Sentinels come back and tie it at 2 here at the Ralph Engelstad Arena. Don't go anywhere. We've got the finale coming right after this. You're watching the Sentinels Hockey Network. Well, they ask you, how do you score goals in hockey? When you're having a tough time putting the puck in the back of the net, you get bodies to the net. Get bodies going to the net. That last goal, just a simple slap shot from Bo Zinchenko. I don't think it even left the ice. That thing rode the ice and went all the way to the goal without leaving it, and it was all because of the net front presence by both Richie Colarusso and Nolan Dawson going to the front of the net, taking away the eyes of the goaltender. That makes that goal happen. And the Sentinels now, with some hard work from Jonas Lease, have gone back to the power play again. The Haas Insurance power play, which just got a tally on it, goes right back to work. Here's Bormanis. Putting it down low for Cunningham. Back to Bormanis. They'll work it along the wall. He's got Buchholz here near side. Tries to get it to him. He does indeed. Buchholz over to Panavanov. Bormanis and Panavanov now play catch. Bormanis up top. Throwing it towards the goal. Save made. Rebound. Oh, it laid loose for a moment. Cleared out by the Scarecrows, but not out of the zone. Held in by Panavanov. His shot save made. Rebound. Cunningham couldn't get it on goal. Lays loose in the slot. Pulled out of there by the Scarecrows and cleared by Clark. Great chance for Indiana. Panavanov from behind his own net will move it up ahead. Jay Buchholz up ahead. Oh, just offsides. He was trying to do a give and go with he and Bormanis, but they were just a hair offsides. 1:10 left to go on the Haas Insurance power play. $1:48 left to play in the third period. We are tied up at 2. Dawson taking this draw. Going up against Clark. That one's kicked free by Clark and dumped down the length of the ice by the Scarecrows. A minute left to go on the power play. Colarusso will set it up in behind. This is the unit that just tallied for Indiana. Willette finds Zinchenko. He'll wrap it around in behind. First man to get there is Blaisdell. Can't get it out on the first try. Does on the second one. It escapes and goes all the way down. Kerr realizing he's got to play this puck. He does. He gets it out to the neutral zone. Good check there by Dawson. Releases that puck. Now Buchholz having a double back. Half a minute remaining on the power play. Just about a minute left to go in the third period. Buchholz letting his team get a line change. He'll get one himself. As Willette from in behind his own net will look at the options. Cole Willette. Moving along for Panovanov. He's got some speed. Gets taken down. Another power play coming. Here's a shot from Cunningham. That goes off the side of the net. And we are going to get another power play for the Sentinels. There'll be 6 seconds of 5-on-3 time as Grasby goes to the box. I'm running out of space here. With 44 seconds left to go. So if they can, the Sentinels, maybe on a face-off victory, can get a quick shot on net. If they're able to score in the first 6 seconds, they're still going to have that other power play. I mean, they're really not going to need it since there's 44 seconds on the clock, but still, nice to dream. Here's Cunningham. He'll put it out to the blue line for Bormanis. Got to watch the guy coming out of the box as well. Back to Cunningham. Escapes him. He gets it back in the corner. He and LaBelle go battling. LaBelle's just trying to pin this up along the wall for the next 30 seconds. Can't do it. Pops out. Cunningham there to grab it, putting it back to Cruz at the blue line. Tucker Cruz leaving it for Bormanis. He's got Esposito net front. Pass from Cunningham to hit Esposito. Didn't get to him. Now Bormanis back up top once more. Cruz's back door. Bormanis looking at the options. Has Willette up top. Elects to go down low. Now Esposito at the circles. Takes a check, goes back to Bormanis. 4 seconds on the clock, needs to put it on goal. Cruz in behind, passing it over for Esposito, knocked away by Whalen. And the period comes to a close. 60 minutes, not enough. We're getting extra time. We get extra time here in Thief River Falls. This is now the 10th time that, well, pardon me, the 11th time that the Scarecrows have gone to overtime. They beat the Sentinels in overtime last October, I believe it was. Or no, pardon me, it was in November. Beat them on home ice in Topeka. But in overtime, the Scarecrows have a 6-3 record. Meanwhile, the Sentinels have not won a game yet in overtime. They are 0-4, but are 2-0 when it comes to shootouts. So this will be their 7th trip into extra time. Let's take a quick look at how we got here in the first period with 2 minutes and 24 seconds left to go. Avery Smith on a 2-on-1, able to backhand one into the back of the net, just off the inside of the near post and in, escaping Kerr to make it 1-0, and that's how it stayed through the first and the second period. Early here in the third with 14:25 on the clock. On another 2-on-1, Klink able to put one just in behind Kerr. Kerr got about 90% of it, just not enough. Bounced off his pad and into the back of the net to make it 2-0 Topeka. But the Sentinels would not go away. 2 goals in quick succession. One from Ethan Esposito, getting his 10th of the season, the first that he's had in the last 14 games, pardon me. And then Bo Zinchenko on the power play, a shot from the blue line, a seeing eye shot with traffic in front from Nolan Dawson and Richie Colarusso. The shot stayed along the ice the whole time, went right through the 5-hole of Lenz and into the back of the net to tie this thing up at 2. And a reminder that Lenz, his last game was an overtime loss to Port Huron. So let's see if that trend continues. So 1 minute and 16 seconds of power play time to start out for the Sentinels. They'll start it with Bo Zinchenko, Nolan Dawson, Ivan Panovanov, and Jay Buchholz. And for Topeka, they'll go with Blaisdell, Clark, and Lind to kick off overtime. And here we go. Off the draw, Sentinels will control Zinchenko, putting it back to Panovanov. Panovanov leaving it off to Dawson. Over the line, Dawson will pull up just inside, leaving it for Buchholz. He'll curl at the circles. Leaving it to Zinchenko. He's got some space, leaves it up top, Panovanov. Zinchenko near side, the one-timer just wide of the net. Bounces hard off the boards. Goes back to Buchholz in behind. A strange bounce there. Buchholz now tied up, able to win that battle. Gets knocked down to the ice. Dawson had it stripped off his stick. Clearing attempt goes high up into the air and just out to the neutral zone as Panovanov chasing after it. Turns it right back up again. Dawson to Zinchenko. Half a minute to go on the power play. Zinchenko has Buchholz in the middle. There's his pass. Save made. Dawson able to get a shot on net through the legs. In front, Zinchenko can't get anything on it. Panovanov, big save by Lenz. He soaks that one up. Panovanov put everything into that clapper right above the tops of the circles. And Lenz soaks it up. 22 seconds left to go on the power play. 4:05 to go in overtime. Draw to the right of Lenz. Sentinels really have to be careful here. If they can't convert on the power play, you got to watch the guy coming out of the box. Here's Willett at the blue line with Colarusso and Esposito and Bormanis. Willett at the tops of the circles, looking, shooting. Blocker saved by Lenz. Great stop there as he saw that through his screen. Gets cleared down out to the neutral zone, and that'll do it for the power play. We'll stay 4-on-4 until the next whistle. Here's LaBelle in behind his own net. Will go D-to-D and passed all the way out to the neutral zone, but Willett able to see that and take it away. Willett for Bormanis. He'll wrist one. LaBelle gets a shin pad on that. Now in behind Esposito, walking on front. Big save again by Lenz. Oh, Esposito did everything right. He lifted the puck and tried to get that over the shoulder of Lenz, but Lenz got the arm on it. And all of a sudden, the Sentinels are out shooting Topeka 25-24. At one point, I looked up, it was 24-15 shots on net. So we go back to 3-on-3 now that the power play has expired and we've gotten our first whistle. So the Sentinels going with Buchholz, Peavy, and Panovanov. Meanwhile, Klink out there with Blaisdell and I believe Jacob Gagnon. Scarecrows will control. It's Gagnon moving it out to the neutral zone. Control of the puck is everything in overtime. You don't want to cough it up. You might not get it back again. Good save by Kerr. Oh, Klink, he could really let it fly. He let it rip right there, and Kerr able to pick it out from his ears. 3:07 left to go. Draw going to Kerr's right. Line change for the Sentinels. Scarecrows keep their 3 on. Zinchenko, Willett, and Cunningham out there. Zinchenko on the draw against Klink. That gets caught up in the linesman skates, and it goes the Sentinels' way. Zinchenko has it. He'll pull up in behind the net. He's got some space. He's going to take it. Here goes Bo. Klink all over him. Denies that rush attempt. Zinchenko gets the puck right back, though. Now Willett finding Cunningham through the neutral zone. Unable to get the pass across to Zinchenko. Taken away by the Scarecrows. Here's Gagnon. Klink driving to the net. There's the pass. Good job, Zinchenko. Oh, they're going to call a penalty. Zinchenko stuck with him the whole time. Klink looked to be going down already, but they're going to call a power play now for Topeka in overtime with 2:34 left to go in the OT period. So a hooking call going to Bo Zinchenko. And by far the biggest Powerade penalty kill of the weekend. for the Sentinels. And here we go. LaBelle, Koash, Clark out there. And Graspy out in front. Koash and LaBelle play catch up top. Koash now walking to the middle of the ice. Lets one fly, deflected, wide of the net. Good job, I believe either Bormanis or Peavy getting a piece of that. Now LaBelle going down low, pass out in front. Good stick there from Panavanov. Getting a stick on that pass in front from Clark. Now LaBelle looking at his options. Can't find a lane to the net. Walks to the middle. Hits Clark. Once again, Bormanis getting a stick on that, interrupting a one-time shot. LaBelle up top to Koash on the near side. Back up top, LaBelle. His shot saved by Kerr. Comes right back out to LaBelle. He'll hang on to it. Clark at the far circle. Minute left to go on the penalty. Koash up top. Sentinels bench binging their sticks in support of their teammates. Good stop by Kerr again with the left toe. This time on LaBelle. Back up top, LaBelle. Holding Clark. Shot goes wide and circles out to the blue line and out to the neutral zone, but not far enough for the Sentinels to get off the ice. Klink off the bench coming in over the line. Peavy stick lifts him. Lord out there along with Lind. Clark still out there from the first unit. Half a minute remaining. Lind goes back to Clark looking in front. Redirect goes just wide of the net. Lord from the corner goes back up top to Lind. Klink in the corner. Cross ice pass. Kerr gets a stick on it to knock it away. Under a minute to play in overtime. Held again by the Scarecrows. Can't get it into the middle of the ice. There's a pass for Lord. Blocked in front. Rebound. Kerr the save. Bormanis, what a block. He's been out the full 2 minutes. Both he, or all three of them really. He, Peavy, and Panavanov. Now Lind the shot. Saved by Kerr. And he holds on to it for a whistle with 2 seconds left to go. Boy, is that huge. They were out there for 1 minute and 58 seconds in overtime. What a job by the PK unit. All 4 boys. Peavy, Panavanov, and Bormanis, and Kerr. Your best penalty killer has to be your goaltender, and he was. Let's see if the Sentinels can break Zinchenko just out of the penalty box off a face-off win. Here's the draw. Taken to Willette. He'll wrap it around the wall. Buchholz unable to get to it first. Dawson now will throw it out to the neutral zone, hoping to hit Zinchenko, but that pass was a hot one. He overskated it. 25 seconds left in the period. Picked up by Klink over the line. He fires one that gets blocked by Buchholz. Willette will chase it down in his own zone, wrapping it around to Dawson. Protecting the puck in the corner, gets sent down to the ice, does Nolan Dawson. Still is able to get the puck from his knees. Moves it along to Willette. He'll skate it out to the neutral zone with 5 seconds left. Willette over the red line will float this one in, hoping for a miracle. Goes into the crest of Lens, and we go to a shootout. So the fans want their money's worth. You want an FBHL team out here in Mini? We're going to give you the whole show. You get a full 60 minutes of play with a comeback. Some incredible penalty killing all throughout. That's capped off by the Sentinels 3. Blake Peavy, Christers Bormanis, and Ivan Panavanov with Chris Kerr holding down the fort in net. Killing off a penalty 4-on-3 in overtime. And we finish it out with a shootout. So as far as shootouts are concerned, the Sentinels have been perfect this year, 2-0. Their last one against Danbury back in February. Meanwhile, the Scarecrows have not yet won a shootout. They are 0-1 in their one attempt. They will shoot first. The Sentinels, being the home team, elect if they want to shoot or be shot at. And it's going to be Scotty Koash to start it off. Koash, their sharpshooter, had a hat trick yesterday. Starts out slow, coming right down the gut to the forehand. Kerr stays with him, knocks it away with a pad. Koash tried to outweigh Kerr, and Kerr said, I don't think so. And how about this, a tap on the pads for Ethan Esposito. already got a goal today for Grandpa. Missed on a penalty shot yesterday, and he wants this one bad. Espo was the hero back in December against Blue Ridge. Let's see if he could do it again. Espo picks it up in the neutral zone. Will wheel and deal, coming right down the gut. Espo shooting one, and he goes right off the tip of the blocker. Did the right thing, tried to get the goaltender off his angle. Threw it right off the tip of the blocker and wide. A good stop there from Lenz. Now Klink, who is the leading scorer on this Topeka team with 33 goals. He'll walk right down the gut, try to get Kerr down. Kerr stays with him once more. Did the all around the world around the puck, try to get Kerr off his balance. Couldn't get it above his glove. Now the kid gets a look, Jay Buchholz. Jay Buchholz, 18 goals this year, 63 in his career with Minot. Looking to get his first in a Sentinel sweater. Here's Jay Buchholz, taking it slow, weaving his way down the middle of the ice, looks up top, he scored! There it is, Jay Buchholz, up over the blocker. That was a thing of beauty. Sentinels lead 1-0. All they need now is a save from Kerr to complete the comeback and get that 15-hour ride home happy. Here's Corey Checo. Played for Thief Rivers Junior team back in the day. Kerr trying to break a heart. Here's Checo walking in. Sentinels win! Sentinels win! A comeback in the third period. Hockey! And we're rocking up here in the press box. Welcome to the Indiana Sentinels postgame show. A 3-2 Sentinels victory over the Topeka Scarecrows. Topeka falling to 27-19, 3-2. The Sentinels go 13-34, 4-0. Pick up points number 33 and 34 on the season. And go home happy. Boy, I'll tell you what. This is one of those games for a young Indiana Sentinel group that you want to sit down and save for next year. This is how we want to compete. This is how we want to battle. We aren't out of a hockey game. The Scarecrows are a team on the brink of clinching a playoff spot. Up 2-0. Halfway through the third period. This is a team in Topeka who has beaten the Sentinels 7 times in 10 games this year. Could have easily phoned it in. But they doubled down and were able to cash in on some very important opportunities to win this game by a score of 3-2 in a shootout. And that is, like I said, that's a 15-hour bus ride home for the boys starting in about an hour or two. There's going to be some different vibes on that bus ride. I can tell you that right now. That's going to feel a whole lot better going home with the victory in your back pocket. And congratulations to Jay Buchholz picking up the shootout game-winning goal. His very first FPHL goal. And it is a 3-2 Sentinels victory. Well, that will just about do it for us from up here at the Ralph Engelstad Arena. This was a fun one, y'all. So happy to be part of this broadcast. Want to say a couple of thank yous, especially to everybody out here in Thief River Falls and at the Ralph Ringelstedt Arena. Been nothing but kind and welcoming and helping us out every step of the way. So thank you, everyone here. As always, but even more from this weekend, the biggest thanks to the Ryan Furr production crew who came out here and made all of this possible for us. Just an incredible broadcast from the top down. Starting with Ryan Furr, Jordan Vickers, Thomas Voiles, Ethan Evans, Alex Martin. Back on the camera is Christian Totten, Andrew Jones, Alakai McClellan, and Aiden Mize. Everybody at their very best this weekend, giving you the best possible content that we possibly can. So thank you so much, Sentinels fans, for tuning in. We've got 5 more games left with the Sentinels this season. We go to Athens next. Both of those are 7:05 Eastern puck drops. Unfortunately, I can't bring the Ryan Furr creative crew with us again, so it'll be just me. We'll go back to the 15-minute pregame show as we normally do on the road. But we are excited to see you in Athens next Friday, 7:05 puck drop. That means it's a 6:30 pregame show start out in Athens, Georgia. You can catch all the action right here on the Sentinels Hockey Network. From everyone here in Thief River Falls, thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Andy Petzinger saying good night, everybody.